Welcome to We Need Wrestling, everyone. I'm DJ, and making his triumphant return to podcasting. Maybe he doesn't want to, but he's here.
Is this where I announce my retirement?
It could be. I mean, you know.
I mean, I'd like to
according
can I
to
retire from everything else.
According to the internet, you had a mighty fine replacement last week. So
I mean, I did. Listen, if Michelle wants to, go right ahead.
I don't think we'd be able to convince her. She is agreed.
You have to start paying her a salary.
That's true. She has agreed to do some more shows come January.
Absolutely.
But she's hit her quota for the year.
Yeah.
But I'm here with Brett.
Hey.
Welcome back, pal.
Hello.
October 21st was the last time we did an episode together.
Yeah, it was. Yep, October 21st.
Because
we missed 2 weeks.
You missed an episode. I got COVID. Is that how that works?
No, I missed 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, but I had COVID the one also.
So the first
was before that. We missed an episode before the 21st.
No, because I had my surgery. I had surgery on the 27th.
Oh, okay.
So I missed the last 2 because
right.
So
well, but the 27th.
Well, the 27th is when I had surgery,
right?
Because I wasn't going to be there anyway,
and that was supposed to be Michelle and I, but Michelle and I got COVID.
Yeah. Thanks wrestling,
and then last week ended up being the Michelle episode because. You were
baby boy was taking a little bit longer to recover.
You were still laid out. So.
I'm back,
we're back.
Y'all.
We're
I'm
here.
Back, y'all.
We're at 100.
I'm biggity back and I'm back, y'all.
Well, that's yep.
Those are the words.
Those are not the words.
I know that.
But we're back. As close to 100 as I guess we can be. I'm still a little worn out from the lasting effects of COVID.
This is the second day in a row.
Yeah.
That I haven't had pain in like over a month.
Yeah, you've been struggling for a long time.
So yeah, I feel fucking good, man.
Good. Good.
I feel myself, which is great. I think I was talking to Mikey today, and I'm like, dude, like I feel normal.
Yeah.
And it's fucking good. Like it's good to feel normal again. Yeah.
It's been a weird 3 weeks.
It's been
for everyone.
It's it's been fucking weird. For me, since September 27th when I had surgery, it's been
October.
No, my first surgery.
Oh, your first one, right.
It's been it's been fucked up.
Yeah.
But,
you fought through it.
Hopefully.
You made it through. You lived to survive another day.
Barely.
Yeah. Well.
Barely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, so I was talking to Doug. Well, I saw Doug a couple days after my surgery. My second one, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. I've been fucking masking it real well.
Yeah,
just been." He kind of saw me and was just like, he saw me in a bad state.
Yeah.
So, but we're good now. For now.
Hopefully forever.
Yeah, I have a follow up in 3 months.
Okay,
and,
that's good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
They going back in there in 3 months?
No.
Okay.
I just have to do an ultrasound.
Okay.
And a urine culture, and hopefully that's it.
All right.
Which means I'm being a good boy.
You're being a good boy.
So
for now.
Yeah. It's Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. I got a fucking
Right.
party.
Absolutely.
It's my favorite holiday.
Right. You got to celebrate
I love turkey.
That's true.
You
are a turkey.
I'm a big fan of turkey. How are you?
I'm good, pal. COVID wasn't fun, but it wasn't terrible. Michelle got a lot harder than I did. She was a trooper for doing the show last week because she was sick.
She is the
still
trooper.
She is. And
that was something.
Yep. It wasn't the song at all.
No.
But
it certainly wasn't.
You get the idea. It's just guitars that are real high. You're playing real down on the fretboard. You get the idea. There's like a devil flying in a plane coming from the top, and I don't know, complain about Ozzy and people smoking in the front row.
All right. I love Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
That's a bitch move.
It's a bitch move.
What are we
Shut
doing,
the fuck
brother?
up.
Come
on.
on.
I mean,
you know
if you
at.
If you can't get fucking absolutely blitzed watching Iron Maiden, what's the point of sitting through a 3-hour Iron Maiden concert?
My mom used to do it in the 80s.
The only way you're going to get me through them doing Rime of the Ancient Mariner live is if I'm on a copious amount of drugs.
I'd be on a contact at that point. I'd have to be because I can't sit through that.
Yeah, right. And I love Iron Maiden, but
I do too.
What the hell?
Any band playing that long though?
Right. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I remember when I saw the Foo Fighters at Bamboozle in like 2008, I think it was. They played like 2.5 hours.
Too long.
I'm like, brother.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl, let's wrap it up.
Right.
Like, I can't be doing this.
These were raised on like punk rock and stuff, so those are like.
It's just quick. Yeah. It's the attention span.
Right. Yeah. Rough.
Can't do it.
Rough.
No.
For sure.
I don't think there's any band I could sit through that long.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of bands and I've done it, but
but like, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, eventually it gets a little like, okay,
it hits the hour 15 mark, and I'm like, I'm all set.
Yeah.
Like, get me out of here.
I like a good hour and a half, but once you're creeping towards that 2, you shut the fuck up and go away.
Too much.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't know. I need my live music high energy.
Yeah, right.
I need it.
Right. I need a band not be able to play for 2 hours because they're expending so much energy.
Exactly.
But yeah,
like I've been watching like a lot of old, like Biohazard and Machine Head sets in my time off. For some reason, those two bands, I always put them together.
Mm-hmm.
And like they topped out at like 55 minutes, you know, and I'm like, okay, that's perfect.
Right. Well, they also only like had like 2 records out, Biohazard anyway, before they imploded.
Well, that's true. So all right, never mind. I'm not going to turn this into a Machine Head podcast.
Let's not.
God burn my eyes. It's such a good record.
But we're back. We're good. We're healthy for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
We got wrestling to talk about.
I would say knock on all the wood.
We saw a lot of wrestling live in the last week.
Yeah.
With more to come in coming weeks.
I'm excited.
LBAC gave me COVID, allegedly.
It did not give me COVID.
And then we've still went to 2 more live shows.
We did, after you were COVID free.
After I was COVID free. I was very careful. Only spread it to Michelle, and I even tried not to do that. But everybody's in the all clear. I might cough a little bit. I have a little bit of a lingering cough and a little bit like worn out, but we're all right. I can make it.
Good.
No problem. I'm still staying up till like 2 a.m. again, so that's not the problem. Just sit and stare at the TV blankly until I'm like, I guess I have to go to bed.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing that this week.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But we got lots of wrestling to talk about.
We do, man.
I think that's a good catch up. I made the joke earlier, but thank you to everyone for the kind responses and the warm sort of comments about Michelle's podcast last week on here with me. She is an absolute gem for doing it.
Yes, she is.
She hates professional wrestling.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. She says she does, but she thinks Terry Funk was funny. She don't hate wrestling.
Brother.
But a delight to have on. I had a ton of fun doing it, and a lot of people have responded. And I've passed all of those sort of comments and praise on to her, and she's flattered and glad that she was that entertaining. I think it was great. I loved watching wrestling with her. The Snugs Brothers is an excellent contribution to professional wrestling lore.
Absolutely.
And the FBI, Fat Boys Incorporated. She likes some wrestling. So,
she does.
And she actually, this week too, I showed her the clip. We'll talk about it on Raw, but she liked the Io Asuka interaction because she says, I love Asuka. And she goes, oh, is that the girl with the garbage can over her head? And I'm like, yes, it is. So she likes them. So, the tides are turning.
Back to boring old me.
Right, the tides are turning. Back to you, who we know who you like. It's the same shit every week.
Same fucking thing. Blah,
blah, blah, blah. Right.
S my D from the back if you don't like me.
But before we get into all the wrestling we watched, I want to talk about a wrestling, not news, but opinion. And I touched on this on the going down like a fireball Twitter. Currently.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude.
What a wild space that is. Follow us on Instagram just in case, I guess.
Yeah, we have that.
We'll update that if anything happens.
Yeah.
I only use the Instagram account to like retweet and or promote the show wrestling related on Twitter. So like that's, nothing's really affecting me. But just in case it crashes and burns like it's seeming to, Follow us on Instagram.
Who knows what the fuck's going on there?
Who knows? But we'll figure that out. That's an interesting. Listen, it's 2022 is fucking nuts, right?
Like, look at all the shit that imploded this year.
Yeah,
wrestling.
crazy.
Wrestling Twitter's gonna disappear.
Right, absolutely. What the hell are like?
Oh my god!
I honestly think wrestling Twitter went away. Wrestling might be a little better because people wouldn't be so wrapped up in the bullshit.
Yeah, what if you get wrestling Facebook?
That's gonna happen. Like, where else are you gonna go if Twitter implodes?
Wrestling Parlor.
Yeah. Wrestling Truth Social. Wrestling Mastodon, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a thing. Right?
Yeah, I got to look into that. I guess might as well sign up and try and get the handle just in case.
Sure.
But stop being wrapped up in so much wrestling bullshit. But if Twitter does fail, I would imagine that fucking Zuckerberg would find a quick replacement and pile that into his fucking thing.
Oh, 100%.
Like Instagram chats or some shit.
Be something.
Just a text-based Instagram and try and take it over. But anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about, which was done in a some fucking interview, I don't fucking know. Road Dogg Jesse James.
Oh man.
Said that he feels that he's a better wrestler than Bret Hart.
Spoiler alert. You're not.
He's not. I loved Road Dogg, man.
Did you really?
I did.
Even as like a kid, like, yeah, the catchphrase in the beginning was always fun.
That's what I liked.
I can't name you a single Road Dogg match.
No, there's New Age Outlaws. I can name them. Them versus Cactus and...
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and Chainsaw Charlie. But I liked DX. I was big into DX. Hit that sort of was like 98. So I'm 14, the exact demographic for DX.
Of course.
And like I like the if you didn't know, I used to do that whole thing all the time. He had the shirt, the airbrush shirt that said "Look, Ma, no curse," and I understood what the Armstrong curse was, so I wanted that shirt. I've always liked Billy.
I'm more of a roadie man myself.
Yeah, of course, sure. We'll talk about that later. But Road Dogg, if you're listening, and I know you are, pal, you're not.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, well, in 1998 he was.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
No.
So, like, Bret Hart has probably the best 1997 out of any professional wrestler in 1997.
I just watched a big chunk of it yesterday.
And then leaves, goes to WCW, and while his WCW run isn't as celebrated as the 10 years prior in the WWF, it's still pretty fucking good.
It was a good run.
And I think Road Dogg is probably one of these guys that subscribes to the belief that Bret wasn't a good promo. Because Road Dogg's like, I'm a better sports entertainer. Yeah. But like that is you're telling on yourself that you don't think Bret's a good promo. And also go fuck yourself. Bret's a great promo.
Absolutely.
And I know that he's Sean's boy and he's whatever, and Road Dogg just seems to have fucking wants to put his opinions out there because he wants to be talked about, which is what we're doing. We're giving him exactly what he wants.
Yep.
But I just wanted to come on this podcast and open up with if you're gonna argue that Sean's better than Bret, I'll let you have it, but you're wrong.
I won't let you have it.
I mean, I'll allow you to say it without like publicly embarrassing you. But Road Dogg is a disaster and a garbage wrestler. Like, he's bad in the ring. Like, there's like the shake, rattle, and roll for whatever it's worth, but everything else he's shitty. Like, he's not even the best Armstrong.
No,
he's probably the worst Armstrong.
Was the pump handle slam where he like humped the guy's ass?
Yeah,
he did it.
And then he just started doing just the shake, rattle, and roll. Yeah, because that was like in like WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. It was his special was the shake, rattle, and roll.
Pump handle slam.
Yeah.
What a weird finish.
He sucks. That wasn't a good race. He's the worst Armstrong too.
He is. Yeah.
Arachnaman was a better wrestler than him.
Right.
So
absolutely.
But yeah, I just wanted to open up the show a little bit with saying that Bret Hart fucking rules and stop slandering him publicly. If you want to
open every show with Bret Hart rules, I'm more than happy.
I like that. That's who everyone still picks on too. Like everybody says, like, oh, Hitman, he's so bitter. Hitman, he's this and that. Get over it. Do this and do that. Stop, whatever. Oh, there he is talking about Goldberg again. Oh, get over the Shawn. Get over Vince. Like, what a bitter asshole. Like, when we met him, he was nice as pie. Yeah. He's, you see him on all this other shit. He's taking photos. He's going to events. He's smiling. He's doing all this shit.
I love Bret.
And then these less talented assholes are the one who keeps bringing his name up. Yep. And then he has to be like, all right, well, No, I'm the bitter one, but fucking Road Dogg, for no fucking reason. Nobody's ever compared Road Dogg and Bret Hart. That's never been a conversation.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been like...
That's the point I think that's more important.
You know, like, it's never even been a fucking conversation. Yeah. Bret and Shawn is a conversation. So I know the answer to the conversation, but it's a conversation.
It's a conversation you can have.
But, like, Bret and Road Dogg have never been on the same list for anything in professional wrestling. Like, other than guys who wrestled. Yeah. Like, that's the only list they're on.
Guys that were on Survivor Series 1997.
Right.
There you go.
That's it. You know, and like if you list it alphabetically, they're far apart. So they've never been close to a fucking list. It makes no fucking sense. You know, I don't fucking get it.
Dude, I'm with you.
But Mr. Hitman rules.
Listen, Road Dogg.
Yeah.
I want you to go back and watch In Your House Canadian Stampede.
Okay.
And if you've ever gotten a reaction like Bret Hart gets when he comes out of that entrance ramp, show me.
Right.
Because I guarantee you haven't.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the loudest fucking pops I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
I just watched it the other day.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And when he's beating down Austin in the corner, it like gives me chills still watching it. That's what gives me chills.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think fuck you. I think the biggest reaction that Road Dogg ever got was after fucking a DX rat in the late 90s.
Oh boy.
So there you go.
Oh God. What about the Nation skit? Was he Mark? Or no, he was D-Lo.
He was.
I will say that was funny.
Who wasn't X-Pac?
Yeah.
Henry?
Hey.
Smells like shit, but I'll eat some anyway.
I did like Rock was bacon, brother was bacon.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. I'm good.
What a terrible promo in hindsight.
It's not even on the network.
No, how could you?
Yeah,
how could you? That would be a sweeping.
It's not on
the
there.
guys who run the fucking company right now are in blackface in that fucking thing. That thing is going to get a Bear Reed.
Yeah.
To go out and buy that DX VHS tape because it's on there. They can't edit stuff that's already been printed, guys. Remember that. Physical media is king.
I love that.
So yeah, so that's Bret Hart fucking rules. Road Dogg, get out of here. You're a mid-level wrestler who lucked into a great faction that were hot before you got there, and you teamed up with a guy who is somehow perpetually over in Billy Gunn, and you lucked out, pal. Yeah. But, like, you're not even the best Armstrong, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah. He sucks.
You're, like, Bret being the best Hart, I think everyone's very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I would...
I don't know.
No?
You got Bruce.
Yeah, I was going to say, what Hart brother would...
Bruce is loose.
The Bruce is loose, 9 months. Comparing the Armstrong family... To the Hart family. So Bullet Bob and Stu are level.
Yeah.
Because they're the parents. They're the patriarchs of the family. Right? And then so where does Road Dogg line up? Like what Hart would Road Dogg be? Are we looking at Keith?
Yeah, I'd go Keith or Smith.
Okay,
Keith or Smith.
Ooh, yeah, Smith Hart.
Yeah, he might be a Keith
Smith
or
Hart
Smith.
because up until this very moment I forgot there was a Smith Hart.
Oh yeah, Smith. Yeah, I'd say he's on the Keith Smith.
Because I'm not saying that the Armstrongs are as good as the Harts in any way. I'm not saying
he ain't even Bruce level.
Right, okay? He's definitely not Bruce level. 9 months, the best name he can come up with is Bruce. But like conceivably, Brad Armstrong would be the Bret Hitman Hart of the Armstrong family.
I'd give you that,
right?
Yeah.
Not saying he's good as Hitman, but that would be, if you're going to line them up, you have to do a lot of elevating of the Armstrongs, and then Road Dogg is Smith.
Who would be Owen?
I don't know. Brad Armstrong again?
Brad times 2.
Yeah.
Wasn't there Scott Armstrong?
Yes, he was a
referee.
Yeah. He was a wrestler. He's a good wrestler, but yeah.
He ain't Owen.
Nah, he ain't Owen. There is no Owen. There's no Owen comparison. He could be Bruce.
Yeah. I'll give him Bruce. Yeah. Oh, Bruce.
You'd need two Brad Armstrongs to equal a Bret Hart in real life anyway. Yeah. So
okay, I'm with that.
But yeah,
are we gonna put Brad at the Owen level? Maybe because I don't know if we could put him at Bret level.
No,
I understand what
we're just saying best member of the family. We're saying Brad's the best Armstrong, Bret's the Bret Hart. Yeah. That doesn't mean they're equal wrestlers. They're just the ranking the families.
It feels dirty even say.
Right, it does.
Feels
Bret Armstrong did fucking rule though.
Brad's really Road Dogg,
man. The fuck out of here. Just get out of here, pal.
He's a dick.
All right. Now that that's over, and that I got to call, I was upset that I didn't get any heat for calling Bully Ray a fucking mark from my burner account this week.
Oh, you called him?
Yeah, you didn't even see it?
I didn't. No.
He took a picture with, he took a mark photo with MJF and, like, was trying to look all tough at, like, the Rhode Island Comic Convention or something.
I saw he was wearing the same scarf in other pictures about him.
So so Brother Ray Deadly got a mark pick in an MJF scarf with MJF at, like, the Rhode Island Comic Con or something. And I took to my burner because I didn't want that heat on my regular thing. And I was like, I retweeted it and said, I hope he made you fucking pay for it, you mark.
Ooh.
And I didn't get nothing.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I must be shadow banned. My burner's shadow banned.
Oh, maybe you're gonna be disabled.
Oh, I might be.
Yeah. Did you put parody in the?
I didn't.
Oh.
Nobody knows what the fuck Phil Brooks is. Get the fuck out of here.
I'd
MMA commentator Phil Brooks. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's funny. I should check. I wonder if I am. Wonder if they got me yet.
They get you? Are you dead?
No, I'm still here.
All right, good.
I'm still
I'm
here.
glad you're still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he made you pay for it, you fucking mark.
Ooh.
Fucking Bully Ray. What a joke.
Yeah, he stinks.
He definitely stinks. So, let's talk wrestling that we watched. Let's get into it, pal.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. We were at two live wrestling shows the last week.
All right, so I'll just real quickly mention.
Okay.
I watched a match from SmackDown.
Okay.
It was for the Intercontinental title, Gunther versus Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
This match fucking rocked. You should go out of your way to watch it.
Okay.
Gunther's making the Intercontinental title very important again, I feel.
I like it.
Which is great.
Yep.
Rey Mysterio wrestling the way that he does in the year 2022 blows my mind.
Okay.
And it was like, it felt like OG, like Giant Killer Ray against Gunther. It was fucking great.
Okay.
I understand that the match is from last week's SmackDown, but like, people should go fucking watch it, especially if you're a Rey Mysterio fan.
Yeah.
And I always realize, like, when I watch a Rey Mysterio match, like, damn, why am I not like an even bigger fan of Rey than I already am? But then I realize I'm kind of a big fan of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah,
the way
sure.
So Rey fucking rules. Gunther's awesome. It was like a 20-minute match. I think they just went out there and killed it. People go watch that shit. It fucking rocks. So New Japan on Saturday, they had the finale of their Battle Autumn series that's been going on. So did watch a couple matches from this.
Okay.
In the semifinals for the New Japan World TV title, I watched Red Narita versus Sonata.
Okay.
Red Narita, the son of Strong Style.
Yes.
That's his official moniker.
Yeah.
Put him over Sonata.
Crazy.
Red Narita, I mean, he's wrestling.
Not that crazy. New Japan doesn't really like Sonata.
No, they don't. And that hurts my heart.
Yeah.
But Red Narita is basically just Shibata.
Yeah, he'll deal Shibata Jr.
Yeah. I would say he would be Shibata if Shibata, wasn't still wrestling.
Sure.
More on that later. The other match from the semifinals was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil.
Okay.
I watched this because it was full of shenanigans, and it was only like 4 minutes.
They do like the lights turn off and all that shit.
So Zack Sabre dressed up 2 young boys as Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
And like distracted Evil. Because like they walked out with their head down and a hat on, and they looked just like Zack Sabre Jr. And Evil ran up and they weren't. And then like Sabre would roll them up for the 1-2.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Red Narita, Zack Sabre Jr. for the TV title at Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay, that's a set of Wrestle Kingdom. Wow.
I believe it's going to be
That's
Wrestle
cool.
Kingdom.
Okay.
So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
They had a preview match for Wrestle Kingdom. It was a tag match. El Desperado and Master Wato going up against Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. This match kicked ass.
Okay.
So at Wrestle Kingdom, it's a 4-way for the junior heavyweight title.
Okay.
I like that they kind of did like bad guy, good guy versus bad guy, good guy.
Yeah.
Especially because Hiromu and Ishimori have been feuding for years at this point, it seems. Wato held his own.
Yeah, good.
He looks so fucking goofy and out of place.
The dude's got he's got a goofy face for a professional wrestler. He looks like a 14-year-old boy with a bad haircut.
If it was me, he'd be under a hood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
he'd be under a fucking hood.
Can he grow a beard? He probably can't grow a beard.
Probably
I'd do
not.
something. Face paint him. Change that hair. Give him a better haircut.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good wrestler.
Good. Yeah.
But like
sure.
the presentation, no.
Yeah.
But this match is going to kick ass.
Should give him Tenzon's haircut. Have him be Tenzon Jr.
Tenzon was mentoring him for a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, not my guy.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Next match I did watch, because I watched 4 matches in total, or 5. For the IWGP Tag Team Championships.
Okay.
The champs, FTR, making their first defense of the title, first defense in Japan.
Yes.
Going up against the United Empire of the Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb.
I watched this.
You did.
I did. FTR versus Khan and the Cobb.
Oh, should go by that.
Mm-hmm. They definitely should be.
Oh, man.
So
Khan
on the Cobb. I have a question before this match, though.
Okay.
The fuck is that ring announcer that comes out in like the ill-fitted suit to announce them?
Oh, that's Gideon Gray.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was revealed a couple months ago as like the money guy behind United Empire. He's so goofy.
He reminded me of.
He's like intentionally bad.
Okay. He reminded me of Dewey Donovan.
I thought it was like The Rock.
No. Do it right. That's the guy like manages Nick and Dewey Donovan. Do the suit that doesn't quite fit, that ties a little bit untied. I was just very confused. And then also some news person comes out with some news anchor.
Yeah.
They explain it on commentary. I don't know who the hell it is, but he's a United Empire fan.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I watched this.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I don't think it was as exciting or sort of elevated as some of FTR's other more recent matches, Aussie Open, the Briscoe, even some stuff they did on AEW recently. But I liked it. I thought it was still a good match. Not necessarily a problem. Jeff Cobb. So I think Great O'Khan looked really good in this match. I like O'Khan's look. I like the one-taped hands. I like all that shit.
It was awesome.
And Jeff Cobb, I like Jeff Cobb to a degree. No, never going to be my favorite dude in the world, but I like Jeff Cobb. He's built like a brick shit house or a shit brick house, and can do a lot of things in that ring, right? But he also can't do a lot of things in that ring.
How old is Jeff Cobb?
Jeff Cobb's 43 years old.
40.
Okay, 40.
Yeah.
So here's my thing about Jeff Cobb. And one of the things that fuels this is commentary. Because this commentary is all about comparisons for these teams. And they're saying, this is like watching the Steiner brothers wrestle Muto and Hase, and it's this and that. And the other thing, I'm like, it's really not, guys.
No.
I like FTR
I get
a lot.
The comparison.
Sure.
Well, I get why they're doing it, but.
My thing about Cobb is he's a big boy, right? And he is not the most mobile guy in that ring.
No, he's certainly not.
A lot of people like to compare him to a Steiner or a Hase or whatever. Steiner because of the suplexes and the wrestling background, right? So he's a lot thicker than the Steiners, and that's part of it. But like Scott Steiner in the high time of the Steiner brothers tag team days, and Rick too. Rick is also an underrated professional wrestler. Could do anything you asked of them in that ring.
Yeah.
They can take anything. They could do anything. They could create shit on the fly. Like, they were really fucking good.
Yeah.
Jeff Cobb gets the comparisons for the suplexes and the wrestling background, but then can't take the fucking bulldog off the top for a goddamn. Like, that looked bad.
Yeah.
And it's
apparently he hurt his knee.
Oh, yeah. And it's because he's just not that mobile of a guy. No. He's a big guy. You know, like he's like a nose tackle. He's like a defensive tackle.
He's
like
heavier than Scott and Rick
right.
were,
Absolutely. He's got that power gut. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. I think he's a perfectly capable wrestler, probably a little higher than mid-tier. But I think you have to, and some of this might fall on FTR also. You have to understand who you're working with and what their limitations are. And maybe just because Jeff Cobb says he'll do it doesn't mean he can take the fucking Doomsday Bulldog that the Steiners used to do to people. Because he just couldn't do it. Like, that bump, didn't know how to take it.
Yeah.
It looked bad. He could have hurt
it all on his leg.
Right, and he's lucky that it was his leg because it could have been all on his neck or his fucking shoulder. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. It's a really good match. I see that stuff and I'm like, oh man, please stop comparing him to these guys because I get you want to hype it up that way, but like when I see a guy like that, I'm like, like he can't do what Scott Steiner did. Yeah. Like Scott Steiner is a fucking all timer, and like people also kind of forget how good Steiner was because the latter half of his career was him being a fucking roided up maniac.
And he was great then.
But in the ring, the Steiner brothers were fucking wildly good. On the other side of that, Jeff Cobb takes a dragon screw in this match and takes it like his leg breaks, and I fucking loved it. Yeah. So,
with all that said,
he's very good. He's good. He's a good. And there's some stuff he can do. You just, it's okay in wrestling to rein it in a little bit, and everybody wants. I'm not saying that this is necessarily their motivation, but like the stars and do the craziest move and all that kind of stuff. If that match didn't have that fucking bulldog spot on it, is it as good of a match? I think absolutely. I don't think it. I don't think it was as big of a moment. And it's always cool to like, oh, look how big he is. You're getting him up, but like if he can't fucking do it, I
get why. I mean, it's their first match in Japan.
Yeah,
you want to make like a really good impression. Right. But yeah, I think it was more on Cobb, if anything. Yeah. He just didn't want to take the bump.
Right. It's a sick bump. It's a hard bump. And I think he just didn't know how to do it and or tried to take it a different way. And it looked like trash. It didn't make anybody look good. No. And that's sort of just stick up and be like, hey, maybe not this, but let's try this. FTR is all about doing tributes and shit. So just make it a regular Doomsday Device or anything.
They could have just stuck with the Power and Glory suplex.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, but I did like the match. Real good match. Not like a modern classic like they've been sort of running. But I thought it was a really good match. Super solid. Very solid. Most of it was like sort of that classic tag team style, back and forth, good stuff. Cutting off the ring, beating one guy down, comebacks, like all that shit that makes a good good tag match was there. Yeah. It's just sort of, just to figure out what you're doing with these bigger guys. Yeah. Or switch it to Okan. Okan's a bit of a smaller guy.
Yeah, due to Okan.
And I thought Okan, this might be the best I've ever seen Okan wrestle in this match.
He looked really good.
I think he looked really good.
I think he likes working with FTR.
Yeah, I think he's just putting it togetger a little bit. They said on commentary like he wasn't a wrestling fan. He didn't grow up a wrestling fan. Nope. He's like a mixed martial arts guy or whatever.
I know he was a big amateur wrestler.
Yeah, well, they said but he's really catching on and enjoying being in wrestling. And I think it's showing. I think we're watching him grow a little bit and we weren't fans in the very beginning, and he quickly caught our eye. And I like the gimmick. I like the look. And I think he's really, at least in this match, hopefully it reflected going forward. He's putting it together.
Yeah, New Japan, they're supposed to be running, I don't know if it's an Australia show or a New Zealand show. And Cobb was on it, and they already announced, he's off.
Oh, yeah.
Like a couple days later.
Because him and O'Connor are in the World Tag League, right?
Is it him and O'Con?
I know Aussie Open's in it.
Aussie Open is.
Oh, there's not two teams from...
I don't know if they are.
I don't know.
Good. Whatever.
Figure it out.
So the main event, this is for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay versus Tetsuya Naito.
This one I did not watch.
This was a fucking banger.
Yeah.
These two... People that say Naito's washed, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
And listen, I understand Will Ospreay polarizing, blah, 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 blah. The dude could fucking go. Mm-hmm. I love him in the ring. I think he's incredible, especially since he switched to that more heavyweight style. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can still do a lot of the flippy stuff, but he's not. Yeah. He's just wrestle more like a heavyweight. These two, their chemistry is incredible. Mm-hmm. Match was fucking amazing. Yeah. Felt like a big New Japan main event again, which when their main events feel big, it's better than anything. Yeah. Ospreay retains.
Yeah.
At the end, officially back from excursion, Shota Umino, the shooter, the roughneck.
Yeah.
He comes in the ring, lays Ospreay the fuck out.
Nice.
Picks up the title, drops it, and just fucking out.
Yeah.
That was it.
What title is it?
The U.S. title.
It's the U.S. title.
Yeah, the IWGP U.S. title. So they announced that it's going to be Ospreay Shooter on the upcoming New Japan Stardom crossover show.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the merch for that show yet?
No.
Oh, dude. So there's a lot of mixed tags on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the merch is like the one, it's a Desperado and Dark Starlight Kid. There's a lot of cool like shirts where like people are matched up and stuff. That show's gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait.
So the Naito Osprey thing, I'll say this here. I like some of Osprey. A lot of his stuff annoys me. He as a human being annoys me, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of people talk about him, and I see a lot of people, and I should save it the next time, explaining like what bothers me about Osprey better than I can. But I will say that if this match was Naito versus a handful of other people and not Osprey, I might have worked a little harder to watch it.
It might not have been that good.
Right. I just, Osprey, I just, his sort of cockiness and, like he's very athletic in the ring, but I still just, I don't think he gets how to be a pro wrestler and would rather be more of a gymnast. And like, it doesn't click for me with him. And like, I'm not saying that he's bad, but like, I think if he worked more on his character work of like how to wrestle like a heel, because he's a heel, he's a bad guy, he's not a likable guy. But like, I just think if he focused more on that and sort of added a little bit of old school wrestling into some of the things, there's just small little things that he does. I think it would improve him. He's super athletic. He's probably the most athletic, in-ring talented guy on that roster. But he just annoys the shit out of me, man.
He's doing his job.
So it's not that kind of heat. It's not that. No, annoying the shit out of me so much that I'm like, I'm probably not going to watch this match. Is not doing his job.
That's your opinion. Though.
That's his away heat a little
Everyone's allowed to have an opinion.
Right. Exactly.
That's what's important. But you're wrong. So I guess we'll get into live wrestling. We're at this week.
Yes.
I don't know which one you want to start with.
We'll just go chronological, buddy. Let's start with AEW.
Right. So Rampage.
It's pronounced Rampage.
So Dynamite last week, a certain thing happened where a certain fucking legend, one of my probably top 5 wrestlers ever, came out to challenge somebody for their title. Yeah. And then they said, oh my God, this Friday night on Rampage, the match is going to happen.
Well, he came out to save Orange Cassidy.
And then challenge.
Yeah, well, then Orange Cassidy had the contract, so he handed it over.
So, Katsuyori Shibata versus Orange Cassidy for the All-Atlantic title.
Yes, in the Orange Dreamsicle match, as Michelle named it last week.
Once this got announced, I was like, I don't give a fuck if I'm dying. Right. I have to be there.
Right, because we had tickets to this.
Yeah.
So, but it was a little up in the air for you.
Yeah.
Until this got announced.
Honestly, like, you would have had to I would have had to be in the hospital for you to stop me from this.
Yeah.
You, myself, and Mr. Joe Sposto,
right, the Godfather of Pseudo Media
made
Network,
the trek to AC.
And listen, that I was shocked at how easy that drive was because the three of us just bullshitting the whole time. Because I don't love that drive. That's a long one to do it back in a day.
It is. It's far.
But we had a really good fucking time, so it didn't feel like it at all.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
I didn't even need to drink my Rain, my Rain Inferno. I just had a regular Monster.
Yeah.
So
proud of you.
Yeah.
See?
I didn't even really need that. I just needed a beverage to wash down my second gas station hoagie of the day.
Ugh.
So
your second?
Yeah, I had one earlier in the day also.
Oh, brother, what are you doing?
I don't know. I like gas station hoagies, I guess. Ugh. I just wanted a hoagie real bad, and those were the only options. I ate a hoagie yesterday too. I'm a hoagie maniac.
I had a hoagie today. So
yeah, there you go.
Fucking hoagie. But yeah, man. So Katsuyori Shibata, Orange Cassidy.
Yes,
that was like the main draw for me.
For everybody.
yeah, and just kind of like sitting there and like the three of us watching in the stands and like just being in awe of what the fuck was going on. Like Joe even said, he goes, listen, I'm not like, I don't really know a ton about Katsuyori Shibata, but I know how important this is,
Right.
Right. And like after the match happened, I even turned to you, I was like, holy shit, we've officially seen all three of the new three of the new Three Musketeers wrestle now.
Yeah.
He was the last one.
Yeah.
Like that we never saw him in person.
Right, and he never thought, I mean, it was, 5 years ago or whatever.
For a long time. 2017.
17, yeah. So 5 years ago, And like New Japan 5 years ago wasn't running over here or having their guy. There was no place for them to come over here. So
not a ton.
But yeah, it was super cool to see. The match was really fucking
good.
Was awesome. OC beats him clean. Which is crazy. Yeah, it was just really cool to kind of be there and see it. I'm excited to see it. We love OC. Yeah. And it's also cool that seemingly Shibata was the one who asked for it. Like he was like, I want to wrestle 2 guys in AEW, and the other one's Danielson. So,
oh my god,
we'll see what happens there,
dude. When that happens.
But yeah, I really liked the match. The crowd seemed to really like the match. Got a good response. Great. I don't know how many people there understood who Shibata was. I know the people around us certainly didn't because they didn't even understand when the show was going to start live.
Well,
because there was when you go to a Rampage, for everyone, there's 2 hours of dark matches.
There is.
So we saw a lot of people wrestle dark matches while we were waiting for the hour of Rampage. And like Tony Khan comes to hype you up and stuff, but we saw a plethora of six person matches.
Even one of the local towns worked double duty.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. And Abaddon and
Eddie and Ortiz. Which,
Eddie. Yeah. Right.
Roof blew off the place when Eddie came out.
Yeah. I think everybody who could possibly wrestle on an AEW show wrestled on those darks.
It was. Yeah. I mean, the main dark match was Moxley, Claudio, and Yuta against Danny Garcia and 2.0.
Right.
Which when they were all coming out, we were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is kind of wild. And that match was a ton of fun.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to look. I got Abaddon, Brian Cage, Leon Ruff.
Yeah.
That happened. I got to see Prince Nana twice. Becca, LVAC star Becca, wrestled Athena and got the shit kicked out of her.
Dude.
Seemingly what she's doing now. Eddie and Ortiz. Yeah, so and then we got and then it was 2.0 and Garcia versus Mox, Claudio, and Wheeler.
Yeah, that match was awesome.
Yeah, Mike Tyson on commentary for Rampage.
Yeah, but did you go back and watch the broadcast of Rampage?
Just the OC.
Me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean Jamie Hayter and Britt against Sky Blue and Amazon Rain. What else did we have?
So we got a Tony Storm thing, Castagnoli yelling at Chris Jericho. Yeah, Master Rain, Sky Blue. Storm runs down. Jericho says he's going to wrestle Claudio and Danielson at the pay-per-view.
Well, and then he had Sammy into the match.
Oh, right. And it's Sammy. Right.
Because that's when he teases when he goes, oh, yeah, when the time comes, you know what to do, right, little buddy?
Right.
And that's where Sammy, does the look, and you go, ooh, are they going to try to rehab him?
Right. We got Ricky Starks making his return to talk.
Listen.
Yeah.
What a fucking sexy man, all right?
Right.
That dude's killing it.
Right. Listen, you know what? Speaking of that, we also got Sonny Kiss in the pre-show, and as I said to you about Sonny Kiss, I'm not saying I would, but I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Yeah. And you got to do the Parker Bordeaux shake
with him there. Hilarious. Yeah, so Guevara does that thing, and then Samoa Joe and Wardlow versus the Gates of Agony.
More on that later.
Yeah, I like watching Samoa Joe. Every time I watch Samoa Joe wrestle, I'm always like, how is he not my favorite wrestler ever?
It makes me very happy.
And then I see people show the clip of when he absolutely fucking knocked out Kenta in Ring of Honor in that tag match where he just pasted him. And Kenta wasn't right after that. And it's just how is he not my favorite wrestler? And I saw Samoa Joe wrestle live a whole bunch, and I've always loved him. Yeah. But I don't know how I was never obsessed with him like I probably should have been. And then we get Powerhouse Hobbs coming out at the end to challenge Wardlow.
Yeah. Then the Acclaimed beat up the Factory for the dark segment.
Oh, right.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
We love the Acclaimed.
Yeah, of course. Everyone loves the Acclaimed.
But yeah, man, overall, dude, that fun fucking trip.
Yeah, they sold out of foam fingers.
Again, you're right. The drive flew by.
Arena was probably a little too big for them. We sort of talked about that.
It was a boardwalk hall.
Yeah, pretty big joint. Long too. The one side went way back, and it's just too big of a building for them.
You know what's crazy? So, I talked to my uncle. He's like, "Oh, where are you going?" I told him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been there a bunch because I've seen a bunch of boxing fights there, like Gotti, I think it was Ward and Gotti. He's seen a bunch there." And I'm like, man, I can't imagine that building full.
Right.
Because the building was full for those fights, right. I couldn't even imagine it.
Yeah, it's a pretty big place.
That's a lot of people there.
But yeah, and, Tyson on commentary, he was there. I thought he sounded good when I watched him on TV.
Yeah, I thought so.
He was watching his fucking Kakihara tapes to correct
right he was.
Excalibur about the STO.
Yeah, he's like, that's an STO, brother.
And it was just very little fanfare. He sort of did his thing and left. Yeah. No spot in the ring or anything.
Just to say hello to the crowd. He fought an AC in that building a bunch.
So. Right. So yeah, that was, it was good. We walked the boardwalk. I didn't factor in the fact that it was the end of the season, so nothing's fucking there.
Yeah.
Margaritaville.
Margaritaville. Did, yeah.
I drank the most disgusting drink I've ever drank in my life.
You're still a coward because she called you out.
Believe me, it's still sitting with me, pal. I just didn't.
It'll stick with you for a long time.
I just didn't want that dumb fucking cup.
Yeah, that's why I said you should have challenged her and be like, "Hey, instead of 2 ounces of that cup, give me the strongest fucking alcohol you got in a shot."
Right.
I would have drove you home,
but I would have been sober by then. This was before the show. But neither Joe nor you wanted to get Cody Rhodes head and neck tattoos with me.
No, you were on your own.
Who's the coward now?
Still you.
I don't think so. Pal, you get that narcotic flowing through your veins.
I don't, though. I never did.
That's how you do it, though, is you get the head and neck tattoo.
Next time,
and then,
take Tim with you.
Yeah, Tim, hit me up, buddy. We're going to go find a henna place. We're going to get henna Cody Rhodes tattoos. Hit me up. Don't. Yeah, we're going to do it. Hit me up. You go first, though.
Yeah, you go first. Then we see his, that's when you back out. Yeah. Very good.
Listen, it can't be any worse than Cody's actual tattoo. Anyway, so yeah, it was a really fun trip. We always have those kind of fun trips. Yeah. And, we talked about this. I talked about it with you a little bit. Live Rampages are weird. I know we're going to another one in 2 weeks because Rampage is only an hour long.
Yeah.
But 2 hours of dark is tough.
And I don't want to say it's underwhelming.
They're very assembly line about it. So like
get you in, get you out.
Right.
Get in, get you out.
So like when we'll talk about this when we get to Raw because they do main event before and it's only half an hour. But like people get entrances and there's music and the big main event logo and all that. And on these darks, like they're just very assembly line, very serious, very cut and dry. Like, okay, Jobber walks out to no fanfare. AEW guy comes out to his theme song. 2 to 4 minutes over, leave. Next people out. And Dasha between every match. All right, coming up next, we have another match. And it's just in and out, in and out. And like, I think they would be better suited and people would have a better time if there was some fanfare behind it all. It was very cut and dry. And like even like the people behind us who aren't regular wrestling fans, you can tell, but they were like, oh, is this going to get better when it's live on TV? Yeah. And like, for these sort of things for Rampage, you want to also bring in the casuals to fill places.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like, I think if you had some fanfare too dark and like involve the crowd a little bit and had a little bit more fun, make it not as fucking sterilized as they did. I just think it'd be a better show because tickets aren't cheap.
No.
And people are traveling. And like, it's 3 hours of wrestling, which is what you get if you go to Dynamite also. But you're getting a lot of good wrestling. Yeah, Dynamite you get 4 because you get the dark beforehand.
There's a lot more meat on the bone.
Right. But like it's just so dry.
Who did Deppen work? Was it Kip Sabian?
Yeah, I think it was Kip Sabian. That match was good. And there's good wrestling. I'm not saying the wrestling.
It wasn't all squashes.
Yeah. I'm not saying that all the wrestling wasn't bad. I'm just saying like it's just very dry the way they do it. I'm like, let's hype the people up a little bit more. Let's, and I understand that probably comes with added costs and stuff.
It does.
But like, and I like Dasha, but like even her, she's just very much, okay, next match coming up. Mm-hmm. And like, and they're not lined up. Like they leave a lot of space for editing because they also don't, like in the beginning they would do this and it would be on TV the next week in basically the order you watched it in. Now they cut them up and spread them out and piece them in where they can. Some of them are never shown. Yeah. And like, so in doing that, they put a lot of space in between these matches where you're just like, okay, well, I guess we're just waiting. And like, okay, next match. And then, then it's like the job guy comes out for most of it. And it's just like, it's a little bland to be sitting there.
I get what you're saying for sure.
So I would just like to see, and I think AEW is having some growing pains in that way. I think they're going to figure it out. I think, the only having one merch stand and running out of, items and all that other shit is growing pains. They have a lot of thinking and processing and analyzing to do to figure all this shit out.
Yeah.
But I think the dark on when you play dark on YouTube, I understand it's a free show you're giving away.
Sure.
But like you still want a crowd reaction, and like everybody sits on their fucking hands for this stuff. So like, you know, until we're all surprised when like fucking Moxley comes out. But like a little more fanfare, I think, could really add to these shows and add to the vibe of them on YouTube, and you can maybe make something out of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a very, very, very assembly line, and just okay. Well, we're going through the process. Let's just do it till we get an hour long of actual wrestling, and then that is a 3 hour. You know, is only 3 matches or whatever it was. You know, and like the Mox stuff, like the Kip Sabian match was good. The Mox match was good. It was cool. Athena was a good squash match. It's not that there's not entertaining things there. And I think when they do these darks, they sort of add on, make sure that they have an Eddie and Ortiz, and make sure they have Mox and all that stuff, so that the people are, you know, if you just get like, you know, Sky Blue Squash and a Jobber, you know, 8 of those.
And by Jobber, you mean Adam Van.
Right. You get like 8 of those in a row, and then they go on to Rampage. That's lacking. So they do put some good entertaining stuff on there. But even then, like for those guys, like you go to a WWE, WWF house show, and people are having fun and goofing around.
Yeah, house shows are fun,
right? You know, and I
shows.
know that this is a little different because a house show isn't ever going to be on TV. But like maybe Darky could have done that a little bit too, or something, because you don't need to show that out. You could cut that shit out.
Yeah.
You know, you're editing this stuff anyway. Maybe give a little more to the crowd, give a little, have a little more fun with that kind of stuff. And they just didn't seem to be doing that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in the coming year
we
if
will.
AEW house shows turn into a real thing.
Certainly,
because there's a lot of rumbling.
There's a lot of rumbling and bumbling. We'll talk about that too. But yeah, I did have a really good time.
Oh, I love it.
You could have fed me dog shit for 3 hours and then just stuck OC versus Shabbat in the middle, and I would have been fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was still a really fun time.
Yeah.
And traveling's always good.
Yeah.
But
so
that's it. Atlantic City, you're terrible.
You say Atlantic City's terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday night. When did we get confirmation that we were going? Was it Saturday or Sunday?
It was like Sunday. Yeah.
You, myself, Joe Sposto, and Adam Van. So it was a
hashtag STBN and Boys Night Out.
Yeah, Boys Night Out.
Yeah.
So we went to Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
First Raw in Wilkes-Barre in 5 years.
Yep.
I think we were at the last.
Wilkes-Barre.
Well,
thank you very much.
We were at the last Monday Night Raw.
Yes, we were.
So this was, it was fun. I was excited. I mean, I haven't been watching full WWE shows in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't. I was even asking you who's on what show because I have no idea, and we got very upset when I found out the Xylees on SmackDown. So SmackDown, please come to Wilkes-Barre.
I'd go to SmackDown, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude. So we get there.
The
seats were fucking incredible.
Right. We'll say it's second row center on right in front of the hard cam.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on TV very briefly during the main event.
Yeah, we are. So, again, so we're getting 2 matches for main event.
Right.
And then we go 8 o'clock right into Monday Night Raw, and it's a 3-hour show.
It is.
I never really got bored.
No, I had a hell of a time.
Me too.
I got
I
got sore from sitting in those fucking chairs for 3.5 hours.
I mean, and that you're sitting anywhere that long, you're
right? Exactly.
That's like not your couch.
The Liquor Center has. I like the chairs at the Liquor Center.
Good chairs, yeah.
But yeah, I had a fucking great time.
Yeah, man.
I think we all did. I think we were just to be that close was really cool.
Yeah, we all had a blast.
I posted a bunch of pictures. And I don't watch Raw, but I had a good time. I maybe the wrestling wasn't the best. But the big stars kind of didn't show up.
All the stars were out that night.
Oh God. So we start with main event. This is gonna be the last episode of the podcast. I can tell by the look on his face that I'm gonna quit this fucking thing in a fit of rage.
Wow.
Main event started, and we got Wendy Chu
Crew was out
versus Tamina.
Oh yeah.
Tamina, who I had said to you, I don't mind Tamina. And then Tamina very quickly proved me wrong. I do mind.
You said that, and I think all of us were like, what are you talking about?
I know. And then, I guess in my mind, I pictured Tamina as like just a lady hoss. And instead, she's just real bad. I like Wendy Chu, though.
Wendy Chu got the win.
Yeah, Wendy Chu got the win. Wendy Chu also, on her Instagram, taking photos from her bed in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, right after the show. So, Wendy Chu's all right in my book. Oh, boy. Even though she bites a ton of Orange Cassidy shit.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, and so the Wilkes-Barre thing, I guess we should explain that.
Yes.
Before we got to our seats. So they sell T-shirts at every show, I'm assuming, of the city they're in, with 316 on it.
See, I don't know if they like switch it up for different people or I don't know, but
because they also have like the I Was There shirt or whatever.
So this one we got Wilkes-Barre 316.
Right, with the Austin skull on the back, but no Austin mark on it.
No, it's just a Wilkes-Barre 316 shirt.
So like, lots of people we know there. Is like a nice little get together that wasn't planned. We all got one. And for whatever
we all did.
Yeah. So just for those of you who don't know, the town that we kind of live in, you do, kind of. Again, we're sort of the greater Wilkes-Barre area.
I can walk a block.
Right, exactly. And we share the zip code. Yeah. Bear Creek, but it's Wilkes-Barre. If you put Wilkes-Barre on any mail, it's going to get here. Yeah. So it's Wilkes-Barre, Barre. Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes-Barre.
I'm fine with all.
I say Wilkes. It's Wilkes.
That's definitely Wilkes.
So the gentlemen's names, it's the two men who founded the town, their last names, Wilkes and Barry. It is technically pronounced Barry.
I say Wilkes-Barre.
I say Wilkes-Barre mostly, but it's Wilkes-Barre, whatever, the bar. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, and it wasn't on when they advertised they had the T-shirt for sale up on the giant screen, it did not have the accent mark over the E.
It didn't.
But the T-shirt did.
Fucking weird.
So I don't know if somebody Googled it because they weren't sure if it was a real name of a city, and they got the pronunciation thing on, or like how the guy wrote his name. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
But we all fucking loved it for that. So Wilkes-Barre from now on, Wooks. And I will always say Wooks, which is how you know I've grown up here, is that I say Wooks.
I grew up here. I don't say
You don't say Wooks?
No, I say Wilkes.
Oh, I say Wooks. Wilkes-Barre. So that's when we say that. I'm super happy to have it. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's one of my new favorite T-shirts.
Yeah. We should all wear them to Full Gear. You, me, and Joe.
I'm probably not going to do that.
Okay, fine. No fun. But all right.
You already have what you're wearing.
That's true. I do. But I'm going to dress as Tugboat again. Oh
my God, you should.
So then we got back to main event. We got Zion Quinn.
Yeah, against Akira
Tozawa. Dragon Gate superstar Akira Tozawa.
And was very happy, Japanese wrestling expert that he was, to see Tozawa after all these years.
For sure.
Yeah, man, fun shit.
Yeah, it's good.
Quick main event taping. Can't wait till
Right.
Can't wait till Words reviews it.
Right. Quick, but like fanfare, the graphic, they open the show, they like everything you're going to see on on TV, they run on the screen, even though they're not going to air it to a later date. And it just makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're watching something that's going to eventually be somewhere and is important in some way.
So Monday Night Raw itself,
yes.
I'm not going to break down everything that was on the show. It's 3 fucking hours.
Right.
What the main takeaway that I saw, heard, was holy fuck, what a dead crowd.
Right.
People were tweeting about it. I was in my car Tuesday going to the supermarket, and I had that Fight Nation on, and that Busted Open show was on. And they were talking about it. And right off the bat, they're going, holy shit, what a dead crowd.
Yeah.
And Brother Ray was like, I've been wrestling in Wilkes-Barre since like 96. And he goes, it's one of those towns that pops up and every wrestler just kind of goes, ugh. He's like, you know what you're getting. And he goes, listen, this is not a diss on the crowd at all. He goes, but I feel like that town, it's just very blue collar, hardworking. You get to work at 7 in the morning. You get home, you get your kids from school, you get dinner. You're up, you watch a little TV, you go to bed.
Right.
And he goes, that's what that town is. He goes, so, when the night where it's Monday night, he goes, daylight savings just happened. He goes, big election the next day in that state of Pennsylvania. He goes, was there other factors to it? Why people weren't into it? And the fucked up thing was being there, that crowd was fucking loud.
Right.
Dude.
Right.
For everything.
Right. And if you're judging it on the fact that they gave us a Cedric Alexander versus fucking Baron Corbin match, nobody's popping for that. So, I don't care what city you're fucking
So that's
in.
kind of what they came to as well. Because I was I'm just sitting there listening because I'm curious what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And they were kind of under the same thing too. They're going, they said, they go, you start the show with a 17-minute promo,
mm-hmm.
and then you 3 minutes of commercials. They go, by the time that you're kicking in the first match, it's 20 after 8, and they go, did they suck all the air out of the building with that? And I'm going, man, this is so fucking crazy because everybody was into everything.
And that was a big thing for me because people were complaining. I'm but it was hard to hear sort of. Everything was a little muffled from what the video screen and the talking. It wasn't the best audio there.
Yeah, there wasn't the best audio in the arena.
Right.
I agree with that. The live crowd was you couldn't really hear much.
So I don't know if that was part of it, but whatever. But to go back to it, so Wilkes-Barre in the Wyoming Valley, we're a coal mining town.
Yeah.
It's 2022, not an active coal mine right now, but this is a coal mining town. It's in everyone's fucking blood. It's under everyone's fingernails, right? Yeah. And Wilkes-Barre was famous vaudeville circuit. You can go back and look. The fucking Ramones played here. We have a bunch of concert venues for that kind of stuff. Danzig played. All these bands used to come here. They still do. We have Montage Mountain. We have the arena.
Absolutely.
We have the
Kirby Center.
We grew up with the Phillies farm team and now the Yankees farm team. Yeah. We have the Penguins hockey team.
Yeah, they're
there's a lot of shit
to do here.
And back in the day, comedians used to come through Wilkes-Barre.
Yep.
To try out their acts because they knew if they can come to this fucking miserable town and make these coal miner fucking kids laugh, they can make anybody laugh because we are a hard crowd to fucking impress, right? Yeah. I saw Jon Stewart do comedy here. I saw George Carlin, not on tour, just coming to work shit out. Yep. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And, when Roger Waters from Pink Floyd was going on his big tour a couple years ago, he rented that arena that Raw was in out for a month to work out all of his stage sets and his props and all that shit.
Look when AC/DC did the same thing. They're kicking off of their world tour.
They do their little pre-show before it to make sure everything works because they know if they impress this crowd, they can impress anywhere, and also nobody's going to fucking talk about it if it sucks because it's Wilkes-Barre. They're just going to go home.
Yeah. And, even listen to, and again, it's very deadly. Say what the fuck you want, but he's saying during ECW, he goes, I'm not talking when ECW was there. He goes, different crowd, different era. He goes, but my time being in WWE, he goes, it was just one of those crowds where it's it's a little subdued, it's a little different. He's you got to work hard to win them over.
Yeah.
And he said though, he goes, at the same time, you gave him a pretty bad show.
Right. And it's coming up, not only all those things he said, it's election the next day, daylight savings, this whatever. Yeah. Also, 3/4 of your company or 7/8 of your company was just in Saudi Arabia. They're coming over. Yeah. So we get the bloodline, no Roman, no Sammy, right?
The two biggest, the hottest things right now.
Right.
You don't get them.
And we get the New Day thing. And I thought that promo was really good.
Yeah.
But this crowd wants some wrestling. We're also an old school wrestling town. So they want some wrestling.
Yeah.
And the opener was great, but it was long. That big 6-man tag was a lot of fun. But then when you give this crowd JBL coming out and insulting your sports team, okay, Jesus Christ, and then Corbin comes out. Nobody likes
and
Corbin,
squashes Cedric Alexander.
We got up because they were giving us Elias versus Otis.
Yeah.
I like Otis just fine, but who fucking cares?
No, and even what was it? Theory versus Shelton Benjamin.
Right.
I love Shelton Benjamin.
I love Shelton Benjamin.
You know, but like,
right. These
what are we
these
doing?
are C-level house show matches on a Raw.
It's an undercard on a house show.
It's what it is.
Agreed 100%.
It's what it is. And like they were fine. I don't think there was a ton of bad matches, but like we're supposed to be on our feet for this shit. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But like if you look at Johnny Gargano versus Miz, and we get the Miz without Maurice. Well, that is something the hill I'm going to die on, right? And Gargano comes out. Gargano was here doing all the press for him, doing the hockey game, doing all the meet and greet and whatever. At the commercial break, what's Gargano doing? Making the crowd cheer him and boo Miz. And then Miz is reacting to it. And then Miz is doing the same thing. And they come back. They worked. Yeah. So if you go back and watch that show, the crowd is probably the hottest of the night on that because they worked at it. Because they came out and they were like, I'm going to drag this, if I have to, I'm going to drag this crowd kicking and screaming into cheering. Baron Corbin ain't going to do that because he don't give a shit. He's not fucking good enough.
He's a heel. He doesn't,
you know,
like, that's not his job to get you to cheer.
Right. So, like, you know, and Cedric Alexander ain't doing it. No. Like, I think he's a fine wrestler, but like, it's just,
nothing against him, but
it's not the way that's going to fucking work, right? And then, so Gargano and Miz do good stuff like that, you know, whatever. But then, like, you get this weird main event angle with Austin Theory cashing in his money in the bank on a C-level title. That was an open challenge anyway, so he could have just challenged, but he wants to beat up. Okay, that's fine. And then you do the schmoz with Bobby Lashley and all, and it's confusing and not entertaining.
But the crowd was into
The crowd was into
it.
They
were into
the crowd was into everything.
You know?
Yeah, right. The crowd, that stuff they were into. I think they were even into the Corbin stuff, but like not as big as some of the other things. Yeah. But like just everyone's saying online, oh, what a dead town, don't run there anymore, whatever. I'm like, nah, this crowd was. I've been around Wilkes-Barre and this crowd my entire life. They were pretty good in there. Yeah. You know, could they have been louder? Absolutely, but the show could have been a lot fucking better. Yeah. You know, I think you swap out one or two matches. I mean, the main event was for the U.S. title. It's a mid-card title. Yeah. You know, and I know Roman does his thing and whatever, and you know, and we got the bloodline, and I thought all this stuff was really good, but like you could have figured a couple more people out as opposed to having what is essentially 3 house show matches in the middle of a Raw, and right in a row, right? Because we went Otis, Elias into like Austin, Shelton Benjamin, whatever. Like,
well, then even like the segment with like Io and Asuka, like the crowd was super into that.
Yeah,
you know?
right. That was a great spot.
And then Nikki Cross comes out the beatdown or whatever. And all right, all jokes aside, I'm not going to razz you too bad. Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke.
I wasn't even purposely avoiding that. I forgot that it fucking happened.
Oh, I didn't.
Right.
Because earlier in the show I said, my God, this is a perfect Dana Brooke show.
Right.
This is like the way it's going.
Right.
It's
I am happy to have been there to witness the death of the 24/7 title.
Oh, it is dead.
Yeah.
They put it in like the archive on the website already. But like, okay. Again, all kidding aside.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine.
It made my fucking night.
It was hilarious.
Was jovial. I was super happy.
Right.
I was cheering for Dana Brooke.
It's hilarious.
Just to make...
She's arguably my least favorite wrestler. And it's just hilarious that, like, that's the show that Wilkes-Barre gets. And, like, that's the point. Like,
so, like of course the crowd's fucking dead.
Right.
So, like, listening to them talk about it on the like on that show, they're like Ray Deadly's like, I'm sorry. No one cares about Dana Brooke. He goes, it is what it is. He goes, nothing against her.
Right.
He goes, you know, she's doing the baby face like clap, clap, clap. And nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cares about this fucking title.
No.
Like, cool, Nikki Cross, like you're doing your old gimmick again. But like, I'm sorry. No one cares.
No one cares.
And he's like, so when you put that in front of a crowd, he goes, I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
No one's going to care about that.
And like, and that's the thing. And like this, the 24/7 title, seems like Hunter or whoever was booking backstage was like, oh, we can do this here because this town sucks. Who cares?
And that's what it is.
It's a C town.
It's a
small arena.
There was a lot of like, I'd say after the show, people that are done.
Yeah.
Like dead in the water.
Right.
Like Dana Brooke, you ain't gonna see Dana Brooke anymore.
and it is a smaller arena. It's an arena. You know, Raw hasn't been there for 5 years. Yeah. And I always say, like, when wrestling is up, our arena gets house shows. When wrestling is down,
we get Raw.
We get Raw. And it's just what it is. It's a convenient place. It's on the East Coast, them coming back from Saudi Arabia.
It's not far from major cities.
Right, exactly. So, you hope you draw that we're 2 hours from Philly, 3 hours from New York, all everywhere in between. You hope you draw some people in. But yeah, I think the crowd for the level of show that we got, I think the crowd was into it to the appropriate amount, and at times very loud.
Yeah.
Why that didn't come across on TV, I don't know. Because I went back and watched it.
Dude, like, it just...
I agree that it sounded bad on TV, but live, I don't understand.
No, like, again, live, like, it seemed like the crowd was into almost everything.
Right, and to paraphrase Matt from the A Show, he tweeted, like, should I listen to some internet dummy that tells me this show was bad, like the show was quiet, or should I listen to the literal 30 people I know who were there who've all told me that crowd was into most of what they were given?
Seriously, man, like, dude, we had so much fun.
Yeah, right.
Like, I had a blast.
Right.
I really did.
If I watched it back. I fast forwarded through some stuff. You can guess what I fast forwarded through.
Why?
But like, watching it back, this is a C- fucking wrestling show.
And
it wasn't very good.
And that was like the point that those dudes on that show were making. They're like, at first they were kind of bashing the town. They even had like people like call in that were from at the show, and they're going, like, guys, it was super loud in the arena. Mm-hmm. They go, like, people were into this shit, but they're going, this is also the first Raw in 5 years, and this is like what we get, Right. And they came to the conclusion, like, they really felt that opening 20-minute promo before a match didn't help, Like, they said they feel like the crowd, like, that's when you want to hit.
Right.
Like, the crowd's amped. You're there, the pyro, and to give, like, a 20-minute promo, even like, a little whatever inside baseball, like, guys were on the outside of the ring when Kofi was talking, going, wrap it up, wrap it up, it's running long, let's go.
Right.
So it's like, does that hurt? I'm sure.
Right.
But, again, live, like, the last, like, 4 or 5 minutes of that 6-man tag was fucking, like, the crowd was so into it. The Rollins stuff they were into.
We got the debut of Mia Yim, the re-debut.
Yeah, people were into that.
Right, joining the club. Like, I was excited for all that shit.
Again, the Io Asuka fucking
it was hilarious.
Like, interaction was awesome.
So
good.
Yeah, so good.
So, yeah,
it's again, really interesting.
People could fucking talk, and I really hope, like, it sucks as, like, I hope WWE, like, social people that monitor that stuff, like, they don't get discouraged to run the town. I don't think they will.
It's probably a cheap place for them to run. And
I
whatever,
agree.
So.
It probably is.
But it's going to be another bunch of years. We're never going to be on the regular loop.
They draw, and it was a pretty full house.
They almost. I would say they came really close to selling it out.
I would probably prefer a SmackDown there.
Me too.
Just because of who's on SmackDown.
I'd go to Raw again if they came back. I had a ton of fucking fun. And that's really what matters, right?
Hanging out obviously with you and Joe and Adam, like, it's just a blast.
Well, and another thing too that I'll mention, and I don't like mentioning his name, I don't like praising him because he's not a good human being. But next to us, like on Joe's side, I was sitting next to Joe. Joe was on my left, you were on my right. Adam was on your right. There was a mom and her two small children, like 5, 6 years old. Met Bob Lashley at like a signing, and he got him tickets. Very excited to be there. The little girl's talking to Joe about how she wants to be a wrestler, and her mom's like, they train really hard to do it, and she's like, well, my big brother beats me up all the time. I think I'll be okay. Riddle in the opening match came out to join with the New Day, and he had his baseball cap on, and he took it off, and he came and gave it to the little boy. He
purposely said, "Where's the kid?" Yeah.
Right, and he gave it to the little boy, and him and the little sister gave it back and forth, taking selfies with it, throwing up like the bro sign. Like, they were fucking thrilled. Yeah. So, like, it doesn't matter, honestly, and I mean this 100%. I had a fucking great time.
Me too.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good time I had. It doesn't matter how good the fucking show was.
All about the kids.
These kids had they're gonna tell everybody about how good of a time they had at wrestling. Yeah. How they got the hat from a guy that they liked, and like those kids don't know any of the bullshit, so that doesn't matter. Like they don't need to know anything about Matt Riddle. They just know that they think he's funny, and they gave him a hat, and they were so thrilled, and they made their mom go buy them the toy replica belts.
Yeah, that was cool.
Their nights were made, and they're going to remember that forever, and they will possibly be wrestling fans for the rest of their lives.
And listen, the more wrestling fans, the better.
Right. Was it loud? Yeah. Did it come across on TV? No. Was it would the matches stink? Did this and that? Those kids in that crowd, at least near us, had a
blast.
Fucking great time.
Yeah, and then during a commercial, Jey Uso told some guy sitting by us to suck his dick.
He certainly did.
That was cool.
So, yeah. But I had a really fucking good time.
Dude,
so thanks to Joe and everybody for going. And we had a good fucking time.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, we had a great time. And Adam got to be much closer than the restraining order allows to Alexa Bliss.
Adam was standing at attention.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, just the little grease segment here myself, a lot of those wrestling ladies look a lot better in person. And they look great on TV. But like Rhea Ripley came out and I was like, oh. And like Asuka, Asuka's gorgeous. But Bianca Belair, I was like seeing Bianca Belair in person. I'm like, oh, she is fucking built, man. I was like, look at her shoulders.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you said
crazy built. And like you see her on TV, like she's they're all in phenomenal shape. They're all amazing athletes. And Alexa Bliss smaller, like much shorter than I realized. Very tiny lady.
She is tiny.
But like just crazy to see them that close in person. Like sort of everybody, being that close to the Usos, and everybody because we were right there on that side. So everybody sort of taunting there. It's cool to see a lot of those guys. I'm like super excited to see Shelton Benjamin. I love Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, Shelton's awesome.
But show could have been better.
Yeah,
but it completely did not affect my time. I had a
I had a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk Dynamite.
Yeah, that's all we got left, pal.
Yeah. So the show kicked off.
Oh, they announced the War Games at this fucking show.
Yeah,
it was the kickoff for War Games, so that's pretty crazy. But yeah,
thank God. I love War Games.
Yeah,
are we gonna watch War Games?
I don't know.
I kind of want to.
Okay.
So Dynamite kicked off the show. FTR and the Acclaimed against the Ass Boys and Swerve in Our Glory.
Yes.
This kicked ass. This was fucking
awesome. I like this a lot, man.
Yeah, just 4 like tag teams going out and just busting hump.
Yep. Billy Gunn jumping Swerve before the match. That
was great.
Yeah.
I was wondering where he was like when the clip was coming out because the announcer said like, oh, being led to the ring by Daddy Ass and he wasn't there. And boy, he made a beeline for that ring. That was awesome.
Yeah, the top rope suplex to the pile outside.
I always pop for that.
Yeah, this was really good. And we all kind of knew it would be. I think the shocker of this is that like the Guns actually look pretty good.
They did,
even though they ape almost everything Shawn Michaels, which is super weird to me.
Yeah, I don't.
They wear Michaels tights. They wear the jacket with the chains.
Yeah.
They do like the Michael strut down the entrance ramp. They just haven't eaten a sandwich yet on TV, which is what I'm obsessed with because I didn't hear it. Joe told me that at Raw.
Yeah,
and that was the one because I'll say this when they do a DX. They did like a do your best DX impression to win a prize, and Joe did the Shawn Michaels eating a sandwich and won the whole thing. Yeah. So that's not for TV, but like I had never heard it called eating a sandwich before.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm completely obsessed with that because it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I thought the Guns even looked good in this match. Maybe don't be so much Shawn Michaels, but it is kind of weird. It's very weird because it's the exact same tights there. It's so fucking weird. Yeah. I don't get it.
So after that,
you have maybe that's why they're doing it because FTR is so obsessed with Bret. No, they were doing it before. Yeah.
So next you get the MJF promo.
Yeah, somewhat. Pardon my take,
dude. So this is like a fucking weird like crossovers of my world. Because like I've been listening to Pardon My Take for years.
Yeah.
It's like listen, it's a Barstool Sports thing. Barstool Sports.
Yeah, but what's his name's not on it? It's Big Cat, right?
Yeah, it's Big Cat and PFT. They're fucking hilarious and they're smart and they're funny and
PFT Paul F. Tompkins.
No, Pro Football Talk commentator.
Oh.
I've been listening to it for years. It's fucked up because I was actually wearing a Part of My Take shirt when it popped up. I was wearing one on Wednesday. It's one of my favorite sports podcasts.
Okay.
Obviously, it's the number one sports podcast in the fucking world.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a nice little touch. I thought the MJF promo was good though.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think he's pulling the wool over everybody's eyes and is going to win that title and be a fucking heel.
Listen, along for the ride.
I know, right? Absolutely.
For the ride.
No, I like that. I like that's what they're doing. But yeah, I thought it was good. He's not my dude. It's always shocking to me when like MJF cuts any promo and half of Twitter is like, "This guy's the greatest talker in the history of the business."
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's a good talker for right now.
It was good. Like I loved how he just pointed out all of his big moments were like overshadowed.
Right.
by a neck tattoo or a press conference.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, damn, he
Right.
feels vindicated. And that's what you're supposed to do.
For sure. And he ain't wrong.
He ain't wrong.
Lots of people. Looking back, lots of people ended up in a worse place after running a program with a certain cranky, griping individual. So
Chris Jericho?
Yeah, also him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, hey, if you want to watch Young Bucks matches or Phil matches,
right.
That's your prerogative. Yep. I do have to ask you a question, though.
Okay.
Do you have a licensed dick ride?
I don't. I'm an unlicensed dick rider.
Okay, because apparently so is MJF.
Yes.
Because he's dick riding Mox.
Yeah.
And he ain't licensed to dick ride.
That's
according
right.
to Stokely.
That's crazy. Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, Tony Khan finally gets him.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be him.
Yep.
So
Big Stoke all the way, man.
Yeah. After this, it's All Ego Ethan Page.
Who got his Twitter hacked today? Did you see that?
Yeah. That's weird.
Sadly, it got hacked, and
it's a bunch of weird racial.
Yes, the dude was posting a lot of
why am I not
racist, homophobic, fucking nonsense. And at one point was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" He's like, "I don't even know who this guy is. I was just able to get it. I just picked somebody and got into his account." He's like, "He's a wrestler. I don't even know who he is. I just saw how many follows he had and figured I'd come in." So yeah,
internet's a scary place.
Yeah, sure is.
So yeah, Page,
the two-factor authentication. Everybody,
that was a big fact.
Sign up for that shit.
Yeah. So Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston.
Yes.
This is in the all-out or the Full Gear #1 contenders
tournament. Yes, first rounder. Interesting first rounder because we sort of all know who they're looking to amplify in this tournament.
Ethan Page gets the win.
He does. Due to distraction, he gets the advantage over Eddie from a distraction.
But it wasn't a roll-up or anything.
It wasn't, right.
He beat him 1, 2, 3.
And that's fine. I mean, after an avalanche Ego's Edge, which is crazy.
Yeah. I like Ethan Page.
Yeah.
I do. There ain't anything against Ethan Page, because I do like him. What are we doing with Eddie?
Well, yeah, so I'm not as bothered by it. I've been having a big problem with Eddie not being on TV, and then he comes on TV and he loses here. I don't think this is as much of a what are we doing with Eddie as it is we need more people in that main event picture. Because
I understand, but Eddie's there.
Right.
Why don't you just use him?
I still think they can. I don't think this eliminates Eddie from the main event picture. So I think this tournament is meant to elevate arguably Ethan and Ricky Starks to that main event picture.
And I agree with that, but why did Eddie have to be the scapegoat?
I don't even think I'd call him a scapegoat. I think it's the first step in adding legitimacy to Ego Page.
At the expense of Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, but I don't know that Eddie's hurt by this. You think Eddie's hurt by this?
What maybe I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
What has Eddie done?
That I agree with. Listen, I want Eddie to win everything. If given for me, I want Eddie to win everything.
So okay, but listen, there's the fucking fight with Sammy backstage. He got suspended, all that shit.
Sure.
He had that banger of a match with Ishii.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do after that?
Nothing. He hasn't been on TV in 3 or 4 weeks until this.
They're running this like gimmick of him being like too angry.
Mm-hmm.
But like, okay, after this match,
when they mentioned that in commentary, I thought he was going to get DQ'd again.
After this match, but like, why didn't you have him do something with that?
Yeah, that I agree with. Sure.
Is Eddie even going to be on this pay-per-view?
I don't think so. Probably not. They'd have to fast track some, maybe on the pre-show or something, because it's not a full card yet.
Because that'll be 2 pay-per-views in a row. No Eddie.
I think. Well, no, he was on that last one.
That was pre-show.
It was pre-show, but it counts. I think it's a bigger issue. I think AEW is doing a shit job of building this pay-per-view.
I don't think so. But and again, maybe I'm just like, I just want more out of Eddie because of how over he is.
Right, Eddie's super over, and I want more out of him too. But I don't think this hurts him.
I don't know. I just feel like since that the end of that bullshit Jericho feud.
Yeah.
It's just been toiling in the wind.
Yeah. Well,
and it sucks. Like, and it's nothing against Eddie.
Right.
It's not against him.
Yeah.
It's just they're not doing anything with him right now.
Right. I mean, maybe there's nothing for him. Maybe Eddie's not bringing anything to the table. Maybe Eddie's okay wrestling Jay White and not so worried about AEW right now.
Well, and I get that.
He's getting paid.
I understand. No, and and again, it's nothing against Eddie. It's
right.
I'm more so looking at AEW.
Right. I share the problem with him not being on TV in the last bunch of weeks. And I even talked to Joe about it. He's like, well, he had this promo and he had that. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like, I want to see him wrestle some matches. Yeah. He's a very good wrestler, but I want to see him in everything,
especially for how fucking
He's super over
he is.
But like, for whatever reason, for me, this didn't bother me. Maybe because I knew what they were doing, you know?
Yeah, because it's a tournament, but that also sucks at the same time because it feels like another AEW tournament where you know the outcome.
Right.
You know, like there's nothing where you're like, oh, shocked.
Right.
Like, no, you know what it's leading to.
Yeah, but this could have been, to some people, they could have been trying to pull this off as a shock because Eddie is easily the most over guy in this tournament and easily, you know, like the highest on the card in this whole tournament. So maybe this was just a misguided attempt at a shock win. I don't know. You know,
I don't know because I've seen a ton of Ethan Page on Dynamite.
Yeah. Right.
Too much Eddie. Right. You know?
Yeah. So I honestly don't think it hurts Eddie. I think Eddie can do, I think you drop Eddie anywhere on that card next week and he'll be just fine. I think there's an overarching problem with them not letting Eddie win the big match because they haven't let him win a big match and it hasn't hurt him yet. So I don't know that this does.
Yeah. I mean, and sure, like he may be one of those guys where he's at like that Darby level where you're bulletproof.
Right.
But fuck, like I get frustrated with it.
Me too. And I think they have an issue, and they're going to have a bigger issue when the fucking Young Bucks and Omega come back.
Because they're back at the pay-per-view.
Right, they're back at the pay-per-view.
They're there. Right. But
and so, you know, I've been thinking this about AEW a little bit recently. Like, they're like, I'll say this now. I don't think this was a very good Dynamite. I didn't think it was very good.
I thought.
I think there's
good shit.
I mean, we got Ari Daivari versus. Well, there's not. I'm not saying there's not good shit. I'm just saying we got some not great stuff on this.
Well, I know you're going to say, okay, Ari Daivari Wardlow. Yeah. That's just a means to an end.
Right.
That's all that was. Okay, Wardlow comes out, murders somebody.
Right.
Hobbs, okay, then Joe turns on. Like, that's all that was.
Right.
You know?
We also get
good
like
segment. I thought
Hater,
it was good.
Sky Blue, sub-main event, women's match, 9:30 women's match.
Yeah, that is a problem running back into that. I
Right.
get what you're doing. You want to build a Hater and make her look like more of a threat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right. So
yeah,
Wardlow.
I understand, and I too want Eddie to win everything. But taking a step back and trying to be like, okay, let's see.
I'm not even saying he needs to fucking win everything.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
They're clearly trying, and I think rightfully, I think something they've missed with Ethan Page. They have a hell of a talent there, and same thing with Ricky. And I think they're trying to elevate them because when the Young Bucks and Omega come back, you're gonna have Omega wrestle Mox, Omega wrestle Castagnoli, Danielson. Okay, back to Mox,
I don't even think you're going to have that.
You might not.
I think it's going to be all trio stuff
right.
still.
And I think probably, but like I think they're realizing that they can't, like the main event is starting to run in circles a little bit. And they got to figure that out. And I think bringing Ethan Page in and bringing Starks in gives you two other bodies that are high up there. No, and Eddie's already there.
And I get that, but I don't know. I don't know. It's like something's not like it's not working for me.
Ideally, now. I don't think you put Eddie in that. I don't think you need Eddie in the tournament if he's not going to do better.
Yeah.
But I think they were probably just like, well, Eddie wants a match. Him and Eagle have history. Let's put him out there.
Yeah.
I can do an entire episode on where I think AEW is failing and where I think Tony Khan is spiraling a little bit.
Sure.
And I think he needs a little bit more help, and I think he's just trying to figure that out now. And I think he was riding the high of being the new kid in town and being the anti-Vince billionaire.
Yeah.
And running an opposite company that for the first 2 to 3 years of the company, he was like, this is great, we're great, people love us. And then, but had absolutely zero fail-safes behind the scenes. And he books people like he's on a message board. and runs into problems because he books himself into a corner a little too much.
Yeah.
And I honestly can think of a lot of stuff, and I'm still enjoying AEW. But if you wanted me to drill down and be shitty, I can be like, you're not hardcore building pay-per-views until a week out from it. You know what I mean? Like, that
I agree.
It's really it's an interesting thing because they present themselves as this old school wrestling company in a way. But like they can't put out a T-shirt with pay-per-view main events because it would only be for sale at the pay-per-view because they don't know their main events. They don't set them up ahead of time. They don't solidify anything. And I think they got rocked into the corner with this Punk stuff, and they were like, "What the fuck do we do?"
Yeah, I mean they're still doing a little damage control.
Right, I think the ripple is still there. I think they're bringing in people, which we'll talk about almost next.
So all right, yeah.
But I think Tony Khan is finally coming to the realization that he needs more help and that his notebook of fantasy matches are running out.
Yeah. So okay, you have the whole Wardlow segment here. Joe.
Yeah, you would rush in Dark Order, whatever the fuck that thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tavari Wardlow squash.
Yeah, and Joe turns on Wardlow.
Yes.
Here's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
This crowd's gonna fucking cheer Samoa Joe over Wardlow.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
And that's what's gonna happen.
So, and that's another interesting thing about AEW that we can talk about. That TNT title's cursed.
Yeah,
it's dead in the water.
It's
ever since Cody left. There's nothing.
Since that Sammy,
right?
When he had it.
So what? Nobody, even Sammy's a victim of this too. Sammy caused it, but it's been since then. Nobody gets that title and gets better while having it.
Yeah, and it sucks. Like,
and that's your topmost secondary title. That should be the key to the main event. You know, you should conceivably treat that like the Intercontinental title. The All-Atlantic title, I like that OC has it. It doesn't need to be there. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But the TNT title is a little cursed because everybody who gets it does not come off of it better than they were when they won it.
I'm not going to say like, you know, before this happened, like the crowd was over Wardlow because they're not, you know, they're still into Wardlow.
But he's a little stale.
And again, it's what are you giving me a fucking reason to care about him?
Right, exactly.
Like
it's part of the writing and booking. It's on everybody.
Like he won the title and then he was just kind of doing nothing.
I like
this
Wardlow
whole Wardlow thing,
right.
And it's being fucking ruined by the ROH stuff.
Right, and that's the other thing. AEW is being ruined by Ring of Honor. Even Michelle, when she watched it last week, she's like, "What the fuck is Ring of Honor and why is it on AEW?"
Yeah.
And I think people are getting really sick of that. And I'm going to talk about another person here too. But like, so the Wardlow stuff, like, you know, he's a younger guy. He's a capable wrestler. He showed some flashes of elevating his talent. But I don't know that he himself is good enough to work his way through shitty booking. And I think
most wrestlers aren't.
Right. And I think he needs more help from the backstage part, you know, behind the scenes to help him get through this stuff. Or you run the risk of running stale. And the crowd is still really into him, but they're not giving him anything entertaining to do on TV.
No, and that's not on him.
It's not on him.
He doesn't have to work through that.
Right, it's not on him. A better wrestler, you know, a more top-tier wrestler could probably figure something out and create something on the fly.
Yeah.
And he's too young. He just doesn't have that yet. So he needs the backstage to be like, we're going to do more interesting shit with you. And instead, they're having one of the most popular wrestlers on their fucking roster turn on him.
Yeah.
Well, Joe's going to, the fucking, if they're doing this at the pay-per-view, that whole
I
fucking arena is going to say Joe's going to kill you. I imagine
it's going to be Joe Wardlow Hobbs.
Right. And I'm excited for that fucking match if that's what it is. But every time Joe's in that ring, that whole arena is going to say, Joe is going to kill you.
Yeah,
because they've been saying it for 20 years.
Yeah, people love Smo Joe.
Right. It's just a weird fucking thing. And because I think they've booked themselves into a corner again.
Yeah. So you have Saraya officially cleared.
Yes.
The promo itself was like kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
She's a little rusty. She was never a great talker anyway, I don't think.
No, well, she's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like it teeters that line though, where it's like, listen, like the shit that like she's talking about with like, you know, embarrassed in the
I was
public,
shocked
fighting through my drug addiction.
I was shocked when she was like, I've been embarrassed publicly to millions of people.
Yeah, that fighting
hit.
through my drug addiction.
And like even Britt kind of started to cry a little bit.
like have my career taken away from me. Like,
right.
When it's real life shit like that,
right.
how could you not get behind somebody like that? You know? But then it's the whole like, Britt, you're not a star, or you're not a superstar. You're not even a star. And
right.
It's just like,
it
demeans like, and it puts AEW at that like, you're lower.
Right. I'm in the WWE, so I'm better than you. You're nothing.
Yeah. And like Britt had good points like, hey, like I'm one of the reasons why like there's even another place for you to come. You know? Like
right.
They from have a character standpoint.
They have to get that out of these WWE people's heads. They come in and they say, well, I was at the real wrestling company, so you're not as good as me. And it's like, no, let's knock that shit off.
Yeah. So Saraya Britt.
I like to see that her conversation with Sasha.
No.
So Sasha's the one that she got hurt during the match.
I remember. Right. It was the corner drop kick to Paige's shoulder.
I guess Sasha has been carrying a lot of guilt for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's hard.
So I guess Paige Saraya went on put out her text messages on Twitter when she got the 100% cleared. The first person she messaged was Sasha and sent her a picture and said, "Don't worry about it. I'm fine now. Like, you shouldn't have worried about it anyway. Like, wrestling, this happens. It's the risk we take. Yeah. But don't worry about it anymore because I'm good now. Good. So you don't, whatever." And I thought that was really, really sweet, because that carries around a lot of guilt for a lot of people.
Yeah. Especially because at the time, Sasha was very new on the main roster.
Right.
That was like when Sasha was in, oh God, what the fuck was her stable with Naomi and Tamina? There was like a weird stable.
It wasn't like TNB or something or
BAD.
Something whatever.
But
that's
I
thought that was
thing.
I thought that was a nice thing.
Nice.
I'm interested to see. I'm not very excited about this match. I don't think Britt's very good, and Paige hasn't wrestled in 5 fucking years, so we'll see what happens.
I always like Paige.
Yeah,
Paige
she's
was
fine.
Always fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that I don't need to see anymore.
Yes.
Jay Lethal.
Yes, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about real bad.
Trent.
Yeah.
I like the little lead up thing backstage with Danhausen and OC. But I did enjoy Trent calling them scumbags. That's a very underrated insult.
Yes.
But
I don't understand why you're going to job out fan favorite guys to Jay Lethal just to bring Double J out. And I don't want to talk about Double J. I don't want to talk about Jay Lethal, so don't jump the gun.
So you better watch yourself.
So Jay Lethal is a guy, and I saw a lot of people, well, I don't know why everybody complains about Jay Lethal. He's such a good wrestler. He's done this. And Jay Lethal is a very good wrestler. I've been watching Jay Lethal wrestle for 20 years, most of his fucking career. Jay Lethal was a very important part at a very young age of that early Ring of Honor being Samoa Joe's protege and everything. Yep. But he is not someone that carries any weight right now for wrestling TV.
No.
And when he shows up representing Ring of Honor for no reason, he doesn't have a belt.
No.
At least when Samoa Joe shows up, he's got a belt. When Jericho shows up, he's got the belt. But Jay Lethal is booked because Tony Khan likes Jay Lethal as a wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony Khan gives 10 minutes or more of TV time every week to Jay Lethal.
Hey, listen, he's perfectly serviceable wrestler.
No,
he's going to give you a solid match.
Absolutely.
You're
going to get a solid match. But, I don't need it. The Ring of Honor stuff on AEW is already pissing me off.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't even Ring of Honor stuff at this point.
No, but he's Ring of Honor. He's not an AEW guy. He's a Ring of Honor guy.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure Jay Lethal's considered Ring of Honor. Is he?
He's AEW,
yeah. But he's not involved in any storylines other than now with Jarrett. But this is long before Jarrett. Jay Lethal's been on TV a lot.
Yeah.
And I just the personality isn't there. Everybody's the black machismo. Yeah, he's not doing that.
Yeah, he's not, and listen, I think Sanjay's been fun.
Right.
But
I don't understand the appeal of Jay Lethal in nothing significant week after week after week on AEW. And the internet don't fucking like it.
No.
He's not getting over. People aren't fucking enjoying it. They're just like, why is he here?
Yeah, it's weird.
Even if is all elite, and he did join the company before they bought Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
the detriment to there is that Jay Lethal is such a Ring of Honor guy that when he comes out, people are going to think, oh, Ring of Honor,
you're associated
Sanjay
with
too, like, or Impact, like that's what they are. I just don't get it, and the only thing I can explain is that, and this is one of my problems with AEW, is this is Tony Khan when he writes out those shows, going, oh man, Jay Lethal's like my favorite wrestler. I got to make sure he has a spot, whether it makes sense or not.
And it could be.
It could be.
I mean, listen,
whether it makes sense or not.
Do you need guys that are reliable in ring like
Sure.
Jay Lethal? Absolutely,
Right.
you do. You need them.
But do you need him to beat Trent?
You don't need them every week.
Right. And to beat guys like Trent, have him come out and beat somebody else.
Yeah.
What does it matter? Because this match doesn't have an angle into it. Maybe they're going to work something out with the best friends. I don't know.
No, that's not going to.
But like, it's just to bring Jarrett out. You can do this a million other fucking ways. You know, so.
But then Jeff Jarrett
comes out, yeah.
You winding me up? Don't wind me up.
Right.
I loved when he kept yelling at the guy, don't wind me up. Listen, Jeff Jarrett, he takes shots at Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
He takes shots at Triple H.
Yeah.
He's the fucking man.
Okay.
JEFF, JARRETT.
Yeah. So Jeff Jarrett's an interesting one, and I said this to you. Like, I am completely indifferent to Jeff Jarrett. He has no significance in my wrestling fandom whatsoever. I've never been a fan. I've never hated him. Like, oh, get him off my TV. He's never mattered to me. He's never been a guy I'd like to watch. I can't tell you a great match that he's had that I've seen. He is just completely not in any part of my wrestling life whatsoever. I don't hate him. It's fine, whatever. I personally in AEW wouldn't be giving him TV time because AEW's big thing is hitting the younger audience, and Jeff Jarrett ain't bringing in the fucking younger audience.
They do a lot of nostalgia too.
They do. I understand his presence and need and abilities backstage, and that gets me the most excited for why he's there, because I think he's gonna teach this company and Tony Khan to be a big time wrestling company and not just a super indie that has a deal on TNT.
Just to take the next step.
But the TV stuff is whatever. This is cute. We'll do the pay-per-view with Sting and Darby. That's cute. Whatever. But like, I'm not like, oh, can't wait to watch Jeff Jarrett wrestle. I don't get it. And like, it's funny because like, and I know where he stands on this, but like when you say that stuff, like, oh, he's the man, and you do the JFF stuff, and Joe does it too. I'm like, are you guys just doing it as a rib?
No.
Like honestly,
Jeff Jarrett.
I'm like, I don't, because like, what matches has he had that are phenomenal?
Him versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name another one that doesn't involve the best wrestler of all time.
Shawn Michaels isn't the best wrestler of all time. What the fuck you talking
considered one of the best wrestlers of all time. Shawn Michaels is a top 5 wrestler of all time.
Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe in TNA. Jeff Jarrett versus Raven in TNA.
These are great matches. These are okay. I have a very hard time.
You didn't watch Impact.
That. I didn't watch Impact at all.
So you missed a ton of shit.
Right.
So
but it's not universally loved. People rag on Impact. Impact is pretty much hated.
It's TNA. It's not so much when it was Impact. It's
okay.
TNA. There was a big dude. TNA was big for a while.
Yeah, they were big, but it doesn't mean it was good. WWE's big. It's still not good.
That's
it's my opinion, right? And that's what this show is, and that's what we talk about, and we're allowed to have differing opinions on things. But like Jarrett, to me,
that's what I mean. Though I'm giving you matches, and you're like, no.
Well, because it's easy to say, oh, he had a great match with Shawn Michaels, he had a great match with Samoa Joe. Necro Butcher had a great match with Samoa Joe. So like, I don't see Jarrett as this elevating talent. I see him as an elevating businessman.
Yeah.
But as an elevating in-ring talent that's going to come out every week and do this shit and do the bullshit fake Sting thing that made no sense or
it's
didn't get a pop.
Be every week.
Well, hopefully.
It's not. I think you're going to have him up through the pay-per-view and then he's going to fade off for a while. That's what's going to happen. I hope so. Especially with Kenny and the Bucks coming back.
In my mind, the best thing Jeff Jarrett ever did was hit Beetlejuice with a guitar.
Well, yeah, that kicked ass too. Yeah.
But
that's how many laid down for Hogan at Bash at the Beach.
Yuck.
Brother.
Yeah.
So Moxley comes out and he cuts a good promo, just, still being the fucking man.
Right.
I enjoy him and Regal together. They make me happy. Jamie Hayter, Sky Blue. was what it was.
Yeah, hater rules, man. But
dude, like watching it, I was like, man, Jamie Hayter fucking
right.
rocks.
But this is just 100% like, oh, we got it, and they've been doing this forever. But like, gotta get a women's match out there.
I mean, I get it. It's just a build for the paper.
Yeah, right. Because Toni Storm comes out with her and stuff. Yeah, I get it.
And then main event, Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara, best 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah,
I thought this was
really
good.
Awesome. This was really good.
And it wasn't just all Dragon.
No,
I thought
Sammy looked good.
Yeah.
Sammy looked good. I'm gonna say this isn't safety police of me, because we're kind of universally done with this stuff. Don't throw fucking chairs at American Dragon's head, please.
Yeah, it's always going to be in the back of my mind.
And I'm not trying to safety police. I think chair headshots are pretty much out of favor. And like when I saw that, I was like, oh man, like even if it was anybody else, I'd be like, okay, not great, like not advised, but whatever. But when you do it to Dragon, I'm like, no, he's a one hard hit away from his career being over.
Scares me
like he's got a pay-per-view match coming up, and like the last time he got a concussion, it was like 8 weeks. Like, like I'm like, don't throw a chair at him. That's nonsense.
What's Dragon doing at the pay-per-view?
Isn't he working Jericho?
Oh yeah, that's right. From that four-way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But also
Jericho last night made me kind of forget.
Yeah, at the end of this match,
did they even bring it up?
I think they talked about it when this match was happening, but that's about it. Dragon at the end of this match was holding his eyeball, and I'm like, oh no, please don't have an eye socket injury, please.
I'd be very sad about that.
Yeah, but here's an interesting thing, and it's here, there, and there. For this pay-per-view, they said like I didn't love this Dynamite. It was fun. I didn't hate it. Yeah. I just we're 2 weeks. We're one Dynamite away from the pay-per-view.
You want a little bit more.
I want a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that.
And I because of the wrestling I watched in my life and where my fandom formed and all that, I'm like, man, like, and maybe it's just me looking at it through a lens of nostalgia and not realizing what it really was. But like building up the pay-per-views, like the people wrestling on the pay-per-views seem to do a little more stuff leading up to it. And wrestling nowadays, and WWE does this too, they seem to rest the top talents before a pay-per-view. And I don't know if it's because injuries are more common now.
I think that might be part See, it's weird though with AEW, like they work once a week. Maybe twice on a Rampage, but like...
And like, so you get Dragon Sammy here, which is a program that sort of spawned from stuff from a few months ago, but also leaning into this pay-per-view.
It's a physical match.
It is.
They beat each other up.
When like looking at some of the stuff you would get, at least the way I remember it, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misremembering, but like you would get guys who were going to face each other in a pay-per-view in some different matches, and like that they'd face each other but not singles matches.
Yeah, it'd be like
tag matches or whatever. Yeah. So you would be able to build, oh my God, remember 2 weeks before the pay-per-view in that tag match, what Dragon did to Jericho or what Jericho did to Dragon? That's crazy. Yeah. I can't wait to see what happens at the pay-per-view. And now they're just like, well, we're going to rest. Danielson's probably not going to wrestle next week. Like, we're going to rest him.
Shocked.
Like, we're going to rest him and whatever. Whereas you should have a hot angle going home to the pay-per-view. So when the pay-per-view match happens, the fans are like just salivating over how one person's going to get a revenge
like
or the
other.
other.
You should have like next week, like go home. It's like Dragon and Claudio versus Jericho and Sammy.
Right.
Right.
Like, and like, and they've been doing this, the Hobbs Wardlow thing. The last 3 weeks, it's just been Hobbs coming out to the ramp after his match.
Not the last 3 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks or because they did
the Rampage. That was it. Well, he was coming out and jumping him.
Yeah, jumping him. Right. That's I'm wrapping that into the same thing. But like, so there's been no match there. It's just been sort of that same gimmick. And I'm like, you can throw some people into something and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they do it. I guess maybe it's to rest your wrestlers because you can't afford an injury.
Probably.
Both companies have been snake bit by that really hard. Like I said, Danielson getting that concussion.
Yeah.
Punk with all his stuff. Omega when he was hurt for how long. Like, you gotta be careful with that stuff. But like, I just remember the builds being a little more active in wrestling, and WWE is at fault for this also. It's just like modern wrestling.
Yeah.
But like, man, and it's something that like that New Japan I think does really well. Is they make sure their guys are in some sort of match.
They build up through the undercard to the shows leading up.
Right, so that you can see these guys and they can tell a little bit of a story in the ring too, as opposed to just sit downs with JR or an interview with Renee or, whatever. You know, like they're doing all this stuff with Roosh and the Dark Order, and all of it's just backstage stuff. Let's get in a ring and play with some stuff here. You know, instead of giving me some of these matches that are a little less marquee, make something of some of these things, and we can see their dynamic in the ring and who's going to hit who back and who's going to get the receipt.
I do agree with that.
It's an interesting thing, and like, so like I think I get not necessarily down on AEW, but like a little more critical of AEW around pay-per-view times, because I'm like, this shit should feel huge, and right now it doesn't. The pay-per-view looks great. I'm excited. That card looks awesome. But when I watch TV and I'm like, what's the big deal coming up for this pay-per-view?
Like, so and this is just in regards to Wardlow Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done the turn here.
No, I wouldn't have either.
I would have done the turn at the pay-per-view.
Yep. Right.
Have Wardlow
because then there's your next story after the
have
pay-per-view.
Wardlow Hobbs just one-on-one.
Right.
That's all you need, just one-on-one,
Right.
regardless, even if Joe costs Wardlow the fucking title.
Right.
Then you have Wardlow Joe, even if you want to do whatever for the Ring of Honor TV title. Whatever. Just have them feud.
Yeah.
And then have Hobbs, or, take the TNT title. Put him off into something else.
Right.
Like, I would have waited.
Right. And I would have too, because then that builds it in, because you have these three guys in a match.
You could build the tension more between Wardlow and Joe.
Right.
Like, they really only started building it at Rampage.
Right. And they do that, and they do that a lot too. They'll do like it's either a tease of a breakup that doesn't happen, or it happens too quick.
It happens like really quick.
And like it's interesting, like with the Joe thing, like these three guys are going to have a match at a pay-per-view, and then the winner's going to win, and then those three guys are just split to the wind.
Yeah.
Like you have to find new things for all three of those guys then.
Yeah.
Conceivably.
Yeah.
Unless you do a rematch angle, or whoever doesn't get pinned in the three-way can say, well, you didn't pin me or whatever. But like if you save, like you said, save the Joe turn till the pay-per-view, then there's Wardlow's next feud. Yeah. And then if Hobbs wins, Hobbs can go for a challenger.
Else,
And then Wardlow Joe doesn't need a title. It has Joe's title, but it doesn't need a title. But there's a problem there that you can resolve over the next how many weeks, and then pay off it like Winter is coming or something.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that. And I'm like, why aren't you doing that?
It's a little weird.
It's weird. Like wrestling's simple. Let it be simple. And like I'm just like, man. Like I said, this pay-per-view on paper, when I look at this card, I'm like, oh my god, these matches are gonna be so good. Yeah. But when I watch a show like this Dynamite, that I'm saying again, it wasn't bad, but I'm just like, okay, but what's like the Sammy Dragon was a really good match.
Yeah, it was.
But was anybody else involved from that main event in the pay-per-view coming up? No. And they're not going to do a match next week. Jericho ain't having a fucking match the day before pay-per-view or the week before pay-per-view.
You don't think he would.
You know what I mean? Like, he's too busy doing the fucking Masked Singer. So like or writing his Painmaker comic book. Did you see that today?
Yeah. Did you already put your pre-order in?
Fuck no. An intergalactic serial killer who gives up serial killing to stalk other serial killers.
I hope it's out for your birthday.
Which is the other than the intergalactic part, is the premise of the fuck was that serial killer show? I never watched it. That ended really badly with the dude walking into the fucking Dexter.
Oh, Dexter, yeah.
Right, because he was a serial killer that hunted serial killers. So Jericho's just like, intergalactic, what a great idea. And he's like, but he's also still a serial killer, so he also has to serial kill on the side.
Somebody needs to stop saying yes to every fucking
Jesus
pitch.
Fucking Christ. But yeah, I yearn, and again, maybe it's me looking back with a nostalgic eye. I'm sure Joe will tell me so in the response. But I remember pay-per-views being built a little differently, and maybe it is just injury, and you don't want to do that stuff because the style is much more intense now and faster and harder hitting and all that. So like accidents are more prone to happen. Yes, people stage dive off a crowd and break a foot.
Be nice to Phil.
But yeah, it's just interesting. I think next week's gonna be a really big show for them. We'll see.
I agree.
I think again, I'm still excited for the pay-per-view. It's not ruining my, maybe that's the problem. Is like I'm still okay with going to this pay-per-view and I'd still buy it and everything. But like I want to see more out of this company because I want it to grow, and like it's doing really good, and the company, Warner Brothers behind it, or Discovery, whatever the fuck they are now, seems to be really interested.
Yeah.
But like a plateau is going to happen, and then you have to find your way to struggle through it. And they've dropped a little bit of ratings up against political stuff and and basketball and all that kind of shit going on. Like,
Sure.
they're always going to lose to real sports. That's
Yeah.
wrestling has always had that issue. Real sports, quote unquote. But
even though wrestling is the sport of kings,
you know, I think that there's little wrinkles and little kinks that need to get ironed out so you can reach that 2 million an episode threshold. And like, because I'm so excited about AEW, when I see them not doing that kind of stuff, like, I'm disappointed in them because I want them to be so much better.
Sure.
You know, and like, I want them to have a good enough show to do more with Eddie and not just sacrifice him to Ethan Page, like you said, or, you know, have Starks in the main event picture and be able to move all these pieces around and have some really interesting things. And like, have Lee Moriarty wrestle Mox, but for a reason, not, you know, so that people can't just be like, why the fuck does he get a shot when there's a tournament coming up? You know, like, I like seeing those matches. I want to see that stuff. I like seeing fucking 2.0 in a DraftKings commercial. I like seeing the exposure these guys are getting. So, like, I want them to be like, we can, you know, we're happy here, but we can rival Raw if we wanted to. And I know that they're a young company and maybe I'm expecting too much, but because I'm as invested as I am and because I like so much of the talent that they have, I want them to iron out these wrinkles a little faster.
I agree with you. No, I
you know,
do think there is some shit that they have to get together.
Yeah.
Get it together. Speaking of getting it together.
Yes.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Uh-oh.
But because we're both, you know, pretty much back to normal.
Yes.
And it seems like it's going to be a slow week this week, wrestling-wise.
Yeah, I think so. I don't have anything.
Nothing really on the schedule. Since it's the month of November.
It is.
We decided we're going to take the top 3 wrestling companies of the 90s, I'll say. WCW, WWF, and ECW, their annual November pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. We are going to take the best match from those annual pay-per-views, and we're going to watch 3 of them.
Okay.
So for WCW, their November pay-per-view was Fall Brawl.
It was?
So for Fall Brawl 1997, for the Cruiserweight title, Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero.
Yes. These will all be on the cock.
Yeah, they're all there. From Survivor Series 2001, which you and I had a little talk about this before. I want to talk more about Survivor Series as a whole in general next week.
Right.
Team WWF versus the Team Alliance.
Okay.
And then from ECW's November to Remember 1999 for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka. Which
is a banger every time those guys step in the ring.
So we're going to watch those 3. We're going to talk about those 3.
Watching Raw back, I think one of the commentary guys said, WWE's giving you a November to Remember in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And I was like, how dare you?
Probably Corey Graves, I'd imagine.
God, that dime store CM Punk prick.
He likes to do those things.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
So, yeah.
He stinks like doo-doo.
That's what we're going to watch next week.
Yes.
For a watch list, just because it seems like shit's a little light on the...
Yeah, it's just not...
Coming up right now, and we actually have a week where we're not, doing stuff.
Right, we're not going anywhere or anything really.
Because following week it's going to be AEW. Following week is Thanksgiving. Yeah. So, and then we're going to be into December.
Yeah, December to dismember.
I kind of want to make you watch that. Did you buy anything?
Did I buy anything?
Other than the Wilkes-Barre 316?
The Wilkes-Barre 316 shirt. I got my hardcover copy of Terry Funk's book in, but I might have bought that last week. No, man, I've been kind of holding off because the Coliseum 2-pack is out today, or last Friday, depending on when you're listening to this.
Yeah, someday.
Someday, So I want to pick that up, and that's a bit of an expensive purchase to get some more Terry Funk in my life.
Sure.
So no, I don't wrestling related. I don't think I did. Yeah, because even we tried to buy stuff at Rampage and they were sold out of foam fingers and shit, and just had the same old T-shirts.
Didn't really have anything jumping out.
Yeah, no, pal, I guess not. You?
I bought in the Elite 99 series. I pre-ordered it. The Boogeyman.
You pre-ordered Boogeyman? Nice.
I wanted a Boogeyman.
Those will be in stores eventually, right?
I'd imagine. I don't fucking know when.
Yeah, right.
Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I wanted a Boogeyman.
Having some good luck. I want the Boogeyman also.
So
I'm just
I was
a little...
like, you know what? I had a nice opportunity week.
Nice.
Good. Shout out Marcus.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll fucking buy it.
Yeah.
I like just buy it, fucking have it, not fucking worry about it. So,
nice. It's one of them I'll hopefully pick up for a couple bucks off when it hits a sale. I do love the Boogeyman, but I have my giant Boogeyman. So
I think we're at month 15 or 16 on the Double J Zombie Sailor watch.
Okay.
Still fucking waiting for it.
You know what's interesting about that Boogeyman? When I was looking at it, what I realized is that's the second run of Boogeyman. That's his return run.
Well, yeah, because they did two Boogie. They did the Boogeyman with like the normal gear. And then they did the Chase Boogeyman with the red face.
Head. But initially he just had the red with the black eyes.
Yeah.
And this one has the yellow across it too.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like his return after being let go and brought back.
Because there's already an old Boogeyman Elite.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's a Boogeyman.
Good for the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite Tough Enough moments. How old are you? 35.
I'm 30.
How old are you? 40. You want to be honest with us?
How old are you? I'm 40.
40. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Boogeyman.
So, Boogeyman does fucking rule.
But yeah, I mean that's
it, right?
That's all I got there.
All right, pal. Let's get the hell out of here then, huh? Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been We Need Wrestling at We Need Wrestling on Twitter and Instagram. We Need Wrestling at gmail.com if you want to email the show. WeNeedWrestling.com. Did I say that already? I probably did. Proud member of the soon to renamed network at STBN Network on Twitter, soon to renamed network.com, soon to renamed network.tumblr.com. Ton of other shows there. Final Wrestling Place, At Odds with Wrestling, Longbox Heroes After Dark, Hit My Music, Puzzle Warriors 3, Profane Argument, whatever, Porch Talk, Sports Talk, fucking Helmet Podcast. Check it out. They're all over the place there. And recording this week and returning Tuesday, depending on when you listen to this, either the next Tuesday or the previous Tuesday. Wings on Wings, our other show.
Yes.
After a month-long hiatus because of our entire world crashing down between medical and COVID and whatever life getting in the way.
It's been
we haven't been able to record. It's been
a rough month,
but we'll be back. We're going to be back recording this weekend. So look out for some Wings on Wings action coming to a podcaster thinger near you.
Dude, so I'm looking right now, the original Boogeyman, Series 48 Boogeyman Elite.
Yeah.
You can buy it on Amazon right now for $40.
Well, that's not bad at all.
No, I mean,
I have my giant Boogeyman. I forget what they were called. Oh, okay. Even that's weird face paint for him.
Yeah.
It's like really elaborate. But I don't know what the giant figures were called. I forget what they were called, but it was a gift from Joe and April way back when, and it's still down there in my basement, in my studio. I love it. I've loved the Boogeyman from the first time I ever saw him.
Boogeyman rocks,
so I'll get that figure eventually. But
I love me some Boogie.
Yeah. Maybe it'll pop up on Amazon like the Chainsaw Charlies have been.
Yeah,
pretty cheap. Weird.
Once they're in stock.
Yeah, once they're in stock and shit. But we'll see. But that's it. Right? That's all we got to say.
Yeah, man.
We'll be back next week talking more wrestling.
I'm happy you're well.
Yeah, I'm happy you're well, buddy. I'm happy you're pain-free and ready to rock and roll.
Thank fucking God.
And that's it, pal. Let's get out of here.
Bye.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.
Knock it off, nerds!